Good evening, chat. Hello. Hello, Leighton Baldo. No, once again, you're wrong. You lost. You're done. Sorry. Sorry. No, sorry. Hate to break it to you. But here we are, chat. Welcome. It is Thursday night. It's time for the Thursday night show because, why not? It's Thursday night. We should do it tonight. We should do it tonight. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Let's see here. Nico says, Ethan Ralph, you have a statement about that accusation? What accusation? I have no idea what you're talking about. James Reed says, the over and under if Scarlett is still alive or not. She's still alive. Like she's alive. You really think Ethan Ralph could hide a fucking body? Like, there's no way. There's no way he'd be able to get away with that. Mick Drummer says hello or hello. Well, hello. Hello. Let me see here, guys. Oh, what are you? Oh, just making sure I didn't miss anything earlier. That was good. But nope, nothing up top that's worth looking at. Ralph dumped her in a Wendy's dumpster. He'd have to carry her there. And he ain't doing that. Lou says, do I have any updated takes on bricks and minifigs? No, I think they were trying to go to federal court, but I heard Reckless Ben did some more stuff, but I have not been following it, Lou. So I need to catch up on that. I've been I've been working and I've been dealing with a couple of real cases myself. So no, I do not have an update on that. Sorry. I don't have an updated position. The Ethan Ralph murder trial would be Keno. I'd be getting that's why I can make my break on the court TV and it's like so can you explain to us, Mr. Ralph? You can explain to Ethan Ralph, Mr. Martin. Yes, I can. Ethan Ralph comes from a place called the Sector. And he was the king of the Sector. He was J. Caesar. That'd be great. That'd be interesting. Let's see here. I can't see if Scar is tweeted as her account is deemed adult. Only every channel under the sun is talking about bricks and minifigs. I know, but we'll catch up to it. It's just, it was kind of like in a holding pattern for a while. And then real stuff happened. And then I've got to work during the day. I still have to make my VIG for 2.0. I still got to go make money. Oh yeah, they altered the TRO. I saw you went on to unsubscribe, so I heard that was pretty good. I heard the Ethan Ralph is live right now. Go ask him. No, don't stay here. Stay here. Yes. PPP on long crime doing his Ralph impression. Well, if you want to know the truth about it. Yes. Let's see here. You'd consider buying a plane ticket to go see it? And upon conviction, we find the defendant guilty. People in court would just jump up and go, arrest him! Oh, that'd be good. Yeah. The Bish had it coming, yes. The Bish always has it coming. Them Bishes always get it. What's coming to them? Do I think they were going to get Jean-Francois Garapi for Muder? Probably not. Unless he admits to it. So, yes. We find the defendant guilty. It's not true! All right, guys. But anyways, welcome to the show. My name's Sean. I'm with Potentially Criminal. I am an attorney licensed in Ohio. I'm an Ohio attorney. Now by way of Florida. By way of Florida. Yes, we are talking about stuff tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Very interesting things. Kind of running the gamut. A lot of this is a little more going to be a little more lighthearted tonight. You know, sometimes, guys, we have these shows and it's rough. Not a lot of good news, very serious things, or just whatever is going on there. It's sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's tough, but this one is not one of those nights. It's not one of those nights. It is not one of those nights. Oh, where is? No, I didn't find the right thing here. Dang it. Where I lost a story chat. I gotta find it back. Hold on. I gotta find it. Where'd it go? Hold on here. Okay, no, I got what I was looking for. Then this needs to go up here. Yep, all right, never mind. I got what I was looking for. I thought I missed it. And then this is all set. All right, guys, it is time to get going. And tonight, guys, I promise you, if we get done early, we are heading right over to locals. Lindsay Clancy wrapped up early today. That's the trial we're into right now, guys. Lindsay Clancy. She's the woman accused of, and honestly, she admits, basically, they're conceding the fact, she strangled her 3 children and then is now trying to argue she's not guilty by reason of insanity. So it's interesting. It's an interesting one where she's saying, yeah, I did it, but I was crazy at the time. So we'll see how that goes for her. That case is only in day 3, and it's expected to go a couple of weeks. Now, I will bring up on the 10th, we are going to be starting a different trial, and that's the trial of Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He is the guy accused of, well, he's the only guy left that was involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur in Las Vegas in 1994. He wrote in a book that he was in a car with some dudes and they had beef with Tupac at a sporting event. And they pulled up on him and he reached in, he grabbed a Glock, handed to one of the guys in his gang in the back seat. And they rolled up on Tupac and went bop, 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 and killed Tupac. And everybody else in the gang is dead. He's the only one left, and he admitted to this all in a book. So we're going to see how that goes. We're going to start that one. I think that should be a fun one. I think this should be very interesting on how that one goes. Two-pack shaker and bake, yes. Got that Glock in its home 30, yes. Yeah, so Tupac, he's got that 357K controlling. He's his hands on a 16-shot semi-automatic. As he will just message me here. What do you people want? Okay, let's keep moving on that. What's the charge? Murder. Murder. Him and his boys killed Tupac. He's being charged of murder. So we will see how that one goes. It's an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting cold case. He's been in jail now for almost 3 years coming up in September. So I think it'll be a fun one. We'll probably come back to Lindsay Clancy. We're probably also got Courtney Clenny coming up. Courtney Clenny might come up towards the end of August. It sounds like that's what it's going to be ish or so. She has a court hearing today. I don't know what the results were of all that, but we'll keep track of that and see where we are as we go forward. So we don't know when Courtney Clenny is yet. Have you heard Tupac's Hit 'Em Up? Think that song aged well. Most of Tupac's stuff aged well. It didn't go the way he thought. Yeah. I thought Tupac faked it to get away from Jada. Yeah. Well, see, Tupac and Tupac's hiding out in the ghetto with Master P. Last I heard. Clenny's hearing a push in next week. So we're probably not having it. We're probably not having the trial in August at all. So, are we going to get on the only? We're going to get on the ground only. Fans killer law blogging. I mean, I'd have to go all the way down to Miami, and then from there, I'd have to go sit through it. And it's like, if I'm going to sit through it, why wouldn't I just stream it live? And I got stuff going, so I can't do that. So we're going to be watching that kind of on the night shift, probably. Yes, Dwayne Davis didn't take notes on a criminal conspiracy. He wrote a book. Yes, an entire book. So. No mayo. Can we talk about the real questions? How Tupac was a homo, but went into character for juice and never came out. Oh no. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Coach, you're with the anime lawyer. Do you mean legal mindset? So if you mean legal mindset, I mean... Legal mindset! Legal dick suckers, more like it. I mean, maybe. I'll have to talk to Andrew, see what he's up to. If he's going to stream it, yeah, we might work together on that. Tupac is a regular shield. All right, we'll definitely do that. Ryan Morris is curious on how much Nick's relevance depends on Alyssa and her touching of the cows. I mean, anybody who's willing to clip, like if Alyssa doesn't clip Nick, somebody else would. So, no, Nick's relevance is entirely upon himself. When am I going to interview Mr. Herman? That would be so fun to do. If he'll give an interview, we'll do it. EDW, set it up. Yes. Let's see here. Captain Forever has been a member for 21 months. Says, how could anybody have killed Tupac if Tupac is still alive? I hope the attorneys make that argument. Is he really dead? How many times have you heard Tupac is alive? That he's living in the hood. He's living here. He's living there. You know, it's all a work. Tupac's going to show up out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work there. But thank you for being here, by the way, Cat Forever, for 21 months. Thank you. And then Pseudo Snark for $20. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Says Shekels still cheering being done and not living in Washington State. Well, once again, Pseudo Snark, congrats on getting through it. Guys, if you were taking the bar exam this week, this was the week for it. We're going to get to some people who didn't have a good time. But for the most part, if you're out there and you took it, I'm sure whether you're any state you're in, except for Washington, congrats on surviving it. You know, that in itself is a bit of a rite of passage. I'm sure you did really well. And I know it's not the next couple of months is going to suck because you're probably going to have stretches where you think you did great, then you think you did bad. And for me, there were times where depending on the minute, I did great. And then a minute later, oh my God, I failed. I did great. I failed. Like it happens. It happens all the time. Don't worry. You're not alone. But what's done is done. The cake is baked already. So you'll find out if it passes. And I'm sure it did. So just take a deep breath. But thank you for the $20. C3 Metal Thingies for $2 says Tupac is hiding from Jada. That's it. I have heard that theory once in a while. That's not the first time I've heard that theory. So, not the first time I've heard that theory. For $2, thank you. And then VTubing Enthusiast for 8 months says, are you wearing pants? Once again, you guys are going to have to pay to find that out. And you aren't paying enough. So. Just some guy says, did you take the test in Florida or no? I have not. If I would, they just offered the bar this week. If that was the case, you guys wouldn't have seen me for the past week. I wouldn't have streamed. No, I had to take the bar exam in February. I can't take it yet. So, So no, we're a ways away. We're like 6 months out from even trying to do that. T-Rex Travel says, Emily D. Baker says, just remember, you can't unfuck a pregnant lady. That's certainly a way of looking at it, yes. Can't unbake the cake. Stephen Cooper says, I was so nervous waiting on my results. I almost applied as a taste tester for Smith & Wesson. At times, like, oh gosh, it was just... You go through it's rapid onset manic depressive states. Just like, 1 second you feel like you're on top of the world. You got the wind at your back, and the next minute you're just a bum on the street. Like it's an awful feeling. It's an awful feeling. And I'll probably have the same feelings. I've already passed it. I've already passed the bar once. I'm probably gonna feel the same way. I'm just gonna be completely like, I'll have to figure out how to hide it from you guys, but I'll be like, I did it. No, yes, no. I'm sure I'm going to be retarded about it. So, let's see here. You can push it on the basement stairs, though. Yes, you can. Smith & Wesson taste tester. Yes. Well, I also sent in an application to Winchester to taste test out the PDX-1 rounds. Wash my mouth out with a Beretta. All right, chat. And we got to get this here. Sleazy for $50. Thank you, Sleazy. Appreciate it very much. Coming in strong. Big frickin' support tonight. Says, are you wearing pants, Sean? Answer the question. Who brought it up? Who brought it up, Sleazy? All right. All right, guys. So let's get started here. And we'll start off with this one that... Oh, and Joe Schmo says real quick, Florida's bar results are good for other states, but Florida doesn't accept other states. Is that how it works? Yes. My law license, there's no reciprocity for Ohio residents going to Florida or any state residents coming to Florida. But many states will accept a Florida law license and will grant reciprocity. So isn't that funny how that works? If I was a Florida lawyer, I could go anywhere I wanted to, probably, for the most part. But nobody can come to Florida. That's how it works. That's how it works, chat. That's how it works. That's how the bullshit starts. That's how the bullshit starts. Sadly. All right. So starting off tonight, as stated, this is the time of the bar exam. And in Washington State, people were getting ready to take the bar. And they were taking what's called the next generation bar exam. And the current bar exams are done on what's called the multi-state bar exam, the multi-state proficiency, the MBE, the MPT, the multi-state proficiency test, and then generally like written essays for your state. We talked about this with the California bar exam when we were they're going through the autopsy of it, I think 2 weeks ago. It's the same thing in many states. And they're all going towards what's called the uniform bar exam. And you might say, Sean, why is it all uniform if every state has different laws? You could act, it's mainly meant to save money. But honestly, I think that's a great point. I've made that point myself, that until the laws are the same everywhere, taking a bar exam that doesn't actually test you on where you live seems really stupid. And like, what does it do? And how do you explain this stuff? Basically it's going to try to focus on testing like practical skills. It's going to cover, they're going to try to phase out multiple choice. So, and things like that, which I think are helpful. They're going to try to cover, just handfuls of subjects. There's different ways they're going to do it. There are different ways they're going to do stuff. And Washington State went right into doing this. Yes. When in doubt, the UCC and the mailbox rule. Yes, that's never a bad choice. Never a bad choice here. But what happened in Washington State? Well, people came in to take it. And the software for the multi-state or the next-gen bar exam wasn't working. There were massive problems with people getting internet connectivity. Because when you take the bar exam, you take it in a big old room. When I took it down in Columbus in 2014, we took it at the Veterans Memorial Center, which is a giant fucking convention hall. I mean, you're in massive rooms with everybody there taking it. You do it all in one room. They don't let you. They try not to. Some places might split you up, but generally speaking, you're in a big ass room everywhere together. And yeah, people couldn't get connected to the internet. They were having problems with everything. And the state of in the Washington Supreme Court, who is obviously in charge of everything, well, they initially sent out an email. And here's what happened. Dear applicant, with deep regret, I write to inform you. Dear applicant, I write to inform you that Washington's July 2026 administration of the next gen bar exam has been canceled. We will not continue tomorrow. We don't have sufficient confidence that the technology issues have been resolved to attempt administration of the exam. We sincerely apologize. We have been investigating and researching options. While we continue to explore the alternatives, you have 3 options at this time. Take a makeup exam. The makeup exam September 1st and 2nd. No additional fees will be required, that's really nice. Because they can easily say, screw you, pay us. Transfer your application to the February 2027 one. No additional fees will be required. Withdraw your application. You will get a full refund. But here's the funny part. You'll have to contact the National Conference of Bar Examiners who are in charge of the multi-state bar exam regarding the technology fee. Think about that. Think about this. The bar exam, guys, is no joke. And the amount of time you have to study, if you're using any of the bar studying programs, it's a 60-day crash course. And you cram. And you write. And you practice. And at the beginning, you are getting absolutely felted when you send in, you type up an assignment and you send it in. They have people that grade it for you at Themis or Kaplan, whoever you're using, Barbary. And they send it back to you. It says this is garbage. And you have to figure out how to fix it and get it done in the clock. And it's just like Chris Berman, used to do. Tick, 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 tick. The clock is ticking. And you think I got 60 days. And all of a sudden you look up and you have 10 days left before the bar. And now you're fucking panicked. It is a tough time. It's like go talk to somebody who's in Afghanistan or Iraq and they got into a gunfight. They never walked away from it saying, oh, we carry too much ammunition. Nobody ever thinks, oh, I had more than enough time to study for the bar. You use every single second to get ready. And you might feel like you're ready to go, but nobody's ever truly 100% ready. No one's ever like that. And yet you go do it. I told you my story. The night before the bar exam, I got there Monday night. I got there Monday afternoon. I spent all Monday night staring at the ceiling. I went to bed finally 5:45 Monday morning. And then I woke up at 6:45, 7 o'clock. And went to go take the bar. And I did okay. But it's so much anxiety and anticipation. It's everything. So and it's scary because I got there and I plugged in all my stuff and the exam software you have to turn on, you can't close out of. It locks out your computer and you can't get out of it. And it shows you down at the bottom of your screen hey, your battery's not working. Your battery's not charging. And I started panicking because I'm all plugged in. What do you mean it's not charging? And the girl that was on the other side of the table from me, hers wasn't charging too. And other kids near us, theirs weren't charging. We all started panicking because we don't have the juice to go 8 hours. And we started panicking, and all of a sudden a guy comes over who's like a maintenance dude, reaches down, opens up a floor cover, like flick, flick, switches, everything's fine. Crisis averted. But in the meantime, you're having a panic attack. Like if there's a window, you're thinking about jumping out of it. These kids got there and the bar exam didn't happen. It didn't happen. And it gets even worse, though, because what do you do? I mean, a lot of these people, well, you've got a job waiting for this. You know, you might be working for a big law firm. You might be working for a prosecutor's office. You might be working in a public defender's office. You might be trying to get in the JAG for the Army. Any number of situations that are conditioned upon you passing the bar. They presume you take it, the normal course of action. You wait a couple of months, bam, you're in. Well, that's not happening now. That gets pushed back 2 months minimum. Or maybe you have to wait till February. The place might say, sorry, man, we can't, we need people ready to go. Sorry, bro. Have a good one. What do you do for those people? What do you do for those people? What do you do for those people? It's just never good. It's just never good. But how do you handle it? How do you handle it? It's just rough. It's just rough. Like, what do you do? And then finally, the governing authority for lawyers in the state of Washington, the Supreme Court, got involved because they're the ones who are in charge of overseeing the bar ultimately. And they said, we strive to make the process. And here's the funny part. As an attorney, when you're in law school and as an attorney, you're expected to always have your shit together. Get everything done right. But this time, they didn't have it done right. And they say, we strive to make the process of becoming an attorney in this state one that is equitable, fair, and rigorous. We know that this week's bar examination failure caused examinees extraordinary stress. You know, people have spent years in the hopes of becoming attorneys, especially with intense exams. You know, we want to convey our apologies for what the examinees experienced. We want to thank the state bar staff who worked diligently with the NBCE people to resolve the issues. We are hearing from examinees, law school deans, and the board of governors who are urging us to take swift action to fix this. And it says, to all affected examinees, we know taking the bar exam is extremely stressful in the best of circumstances. And it absolutely is. I told you guys, I got in the car in Columbus, Ohio, and I drove straight to Toledo. I don't remember any of it. I got home. I remember basically waking up in the driveway. And I saw my wife and I gave her a big hug and then I went and passed out. I don't remember driving home. I could have killed people on the way home and I wouldn't have remembered it. You know, we're receiving your letters to the court. We hear you. Do you really hear them? Like, this is corporate slop speech. This is corporate garbage. We endeavor to address the uncertainty deliberately and want to get our response right. We know you're under significant pressure and strain and have many unanswered questions. We know you're waiting anxiously. Please know we are working to obtain more information, examine options, and identify avenues of resolution. We'll communicate our plans moving forward as we make those decisions and are working to have a comprehensive response as soon as we can. Now, one of the big things they're going to do is probably, and this is something that apparently the law schools in Washington state are pushing for, is basically admitting people as is. And that's something that happened during COVID in many states. People just got admitted to practice law. You know, what's called the diploma privilege. Guys, Robert Barnes always talks about it in Wisconsin. You get diploma privilege. If you graduate from law school in Wisconsin, you're an attorney. You don't have to take the bar. That's, I think, a fair option here because, I mean, what do you do? I mean, think about what happened in California. Basically, they had to let 60% of the people take it, pass it. And then we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, that like AI was generating things. Non-lawyers were generating questions Questions were not being vetted, and they were scrimping and screwing around. The whole thing was garbage. The whole thing was garbage. Just absolutely stupefying, and I feel bad for those kids. I don't know. I'd be completely beside myself if that happened to me. I don't know how I would handle it. Had they figured out what went wrong? It just, the programs weren't working right, but that's a problem when you're launching like brand new software and brand new stuff. They let these kids beta test. And that's what happens. That was written by AI, which is sad because it's the Supreme Court of Washington. You think they would actually write it. Yes, we look forward to welcoming you into our family. Yes, we here at the Supreme Court of Washington truly care about the customer experience for attorneys. Bob Johnson says, is it true that Shiloh's attorney went to the same school as Nick? I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. And guys, I spoke to Brian Corrales. We're trying to work this out. He had some issues come up. And we're hopefully going to be doing that soon. So we'll see here as we go. But yes, Brian went to the William Mitchell or the Hamline Law School. But guys, that's very common in most, situations. Like if you're around Toledo, Ohio, where most of the attorneys went to law school, University of Toledo. If you're in Cleveland, guess where a lot of the attorneys went? They went to Akron or they went to Cleveland State or Case Western. You go down to Columbus, a lot of them went to Capital or Ohio State. You go to Dayton, guess what? A bunch of them went to University of Dayton. That's normal. That's normal. I mean, and guys, remember, somebody's got to be in the bottom part of the class, but other people in the top part of the class. So just because you went to a school, and also I'm sure when Brian graduated from William Mitchell in 1999, it probably had a better ranking than it did when Nick went there. So just a normal thing. Just a normal thing. So let's see here. The lawyers get the wall when it's time. We'll make sure you don't, because we'll put you on the wall. We'll convince you to put yourself on the wall. Territory says, do you think these law students will take on their first case suing the Bar Association? No, because the Bar Association is probably going to try to hide behind sovereign immunity, that they've been endowed by the government to do this. So no, that's the funny part. They tell you like it's all on you to do a good job, and if you fuck up, God help you. But when the government fucks up or the things fuck up, well, screw you. I talked about this before when I was in law school, my first freshman year. Our contracts professor, he had a bit of an alcohol issue, and they knew that. They put him back in the classroom, and he was sauced, and he had a relapse, and everybody failed. Everybody got like D's and F's. I think a couple people got C's, and like a handful of people got A's or B's. And we went and bitched out the dean, and we're like, what the fuck? And she's like, if this was like, you guys teach us. This wasn't like warranty. This wasn't merchantable. And she's like, well, good luck suing us. And you know what? They're right. That's what happens when you're a law student or a lawyer. You get screwed. The system takes a dump on you. That's it. There's not much you can do about it. They go oopsie poopsie and go, oh, shucks, that's no good. And they walk away. So that's what happened there with the bar exam. So yeah, thoughts out to the people in Washington, man. It's awful. Absolutely awful. Let's see here. Look, how do we get back out of Cleveland? Yeah, Case Western needs to be prestigious. It's still a pretty prestigious law school overall. T-Rex Travel says Wright State and Dayton. Yeah, Wright State doesn't have a law school, though. There's University of Dayton. That's the law school there. No one goes to Clark State. They do, but it's not a law school. So Wilberforce doesn't have a law school either. So yeah, let's see here. Let me see. Yeah, the writs of oopsie poopsie suck. Yes. Been there, done that says, imagine being an attorney who should have failed but passed. Well, you didn't even get to take it, so you don't know if you failed or passed. So Stace said, should have gone to William and Mary. My LSAT score was nowhere near high enough to get into William and Mary. Oh, man, you're funny. You're funny. I would love to have gone there, but yeah, that wasn't happening. That wasn't happening. Let's see here. What do you guys say? No Hustlers University Law School program? No, not at all. So, yeah, anyways, good luck out there to everybody at Washington, in the state of Washington, who took it in the shorts. Like, this is not good. This is not good. All right, guys. Moving on. This is something kind of touching back on another topic we've covered previously. The Philadelphia, Chester County, and Philly County, and the Bucks County DA's office under Larry Krasner, the left-wing, lunatic. There were allegations, and we talked about this, from the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, where they voluntarily, sua sponte, assumed the king's bench using old English common law powers given to them by the king to immediately interfere in court cases. And what did they determine? That there was serious concern that the district attorney's office was not intentionally opposing murderers who were in prison, who were filing cases and filing suit to get new cases and new hearings and withdraw pleas and to get reduced sentences. The allegations were that the Philadelphia district attorney's office was taking a dive intentionally. They were letting these guys run free. And you'd be like it's literally like the meme of a left-wing prosecutor just letting the murderers run about the streets. And it seemed like, you're like, we went through it. It seemed really suspicious. This was happening. Well, it sounds like it. It sounds like that actually happened. It sounds like that actually happened. And how do we know that? Well, one of the assistant district attorneys snitched out. Yes. A former Philly district attorney says they were used as a pawn in the appeal of a 2009 murder conviction. So a former Philadelphia district attorney, and this is from a little while ago, chat. I forgot about getting this one ready and airing it in the right time. It was in my stack and I forgot it. So I'm not as good as Rush Limbaugh, but I try. But anyways, they testified this past week, or like 2 weeks ago, that she was told to side with the defendant as they appealed a murder conviction in federal court at the direction of her boss. Because remember, these guys are going under federal habeas to get things done and federal post-conviction relief. And her boss is a top official within the DA's office. So what were they doing? Well, they were trying to have a hearing over whether or not to overturn a 2009 murder conviction, and then recanted. The judge is trying to figure out what happened and why. So what happened? Well, the ADA was a lady named Jacqueline Mason, who was with their federal litigation unit. And we talked about this. The ADAs who were in federal court have gotten in trouble and disbarred out of federal court now. And she said there were meetings between herself and her boss to figure out which of the claims they should move forward with, and colluding to get the defendant relief. Think about it. These guys are actively cooperating with the criminals. And it's one thing, like, if something was unjust and wrong, then yes, help get those people out of prison immediately. But these guys, we're just going to go ahead and take a dive. Why? Because we don't want to be racist or something. It's absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Yeah, he only murdered someone. Yes. But they were taking a dive. They were intentionally helping these guys. Like, think about that. Think about how insane this is. She was told to take a dive. And she was told if it's good enough for the Innocence Project, it's good enough for me. Meaning not even that it was a good enough, just like, close enough for who it's good enough for who it's for. She was directed to write a legal document conceding the defendant's appeal should be granted, but was never directed to investigate, read the trial testimony, or speak with the trial prosecutor. She told the judge that, recently she realized something in the brief wasn't true. She went to her supervisors and others in the unit to raise concerns before resigning. That's when the office pulled their concession. You know what? I'll say this much. Fucking A right. She quit before she did that, and good on her. A lot of people wanted. But she quit. She quit before putting out bullshit into the courtroom. And even then, they realized we can't get away with this one, and they withdrew it. So good on her. Good on her. Yeah, this is impressive. And she said that nothing her boss said on the stand was true. Oh, and remember, guys, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled the Attorney General's office must oversee all cases in which they want to overturn a conviction. I mean, think about that. One of the ADA snitched out, and it's like, whoo. That's intense. So, yeah, and this is the problem. They believe the system is so racist, sexist, and bigoted and homophobic that anything they can do to twist and pervert the law suits their agenda. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely ridiculous what they've done. Just straight up nonsense. Now, to be fair, guys, the Innocence Project does do a lot of good work. But it's one thing, okay, is the Innocence Project correct? Sure. But when they just say, we're just, whatever they say is good enough for us, that's wrong. That's not acceptable. And I just, it's hard not to, yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous what was going on here. So, good luck to, well, if you're on the, you're in the Philly DA's office, you better fucking protect your neck, man. You're about to have a bad day. That's all I can say. Man. Oh. Whoa. All right. Okay. Next thing, guys. This is something that I think is actually kind of important to address. Anthony Fauci went into the Supreme Court, or not Supreme Court, but he went for the Senate Homeland Security Committee and the Committee on Government, and he testified. Accountant Steve says, are we hearing I'm not clear with the prosecutor? There is nothing I am going to do that is worth risking my law license for. At the end of the day, you would have to give me like $500 million to even think about risking it. And you're never going to. So that just reinforces the point of there's nothing I'm going to risk my law license for. Nothing. I wouldn't want to do that. So, yeah. So, let's get to this. So, yes, guys, Anthony Fauci, the director of the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, and the NIAID, famous for talking about the droplets, and also may have been involved in kind of exacerbating the HIV epidemic. Talk to gay men who lived through the 80s. They really don't like Fauci. Who said that? Who said all that? But they don't. They really blame Fauci for what happened in the 80s. Well, Fauci, tried to convince us all that pangolins in a wet market humping bats caused COVID. And then when people tried to contest him, he colluded with members of the scientific community and the press to hide narratives. He also tried to hide the fact that his buddy Peter Daszak and the Eco Health Alliance. They were just taking NIH grants and just throwing money around without ever checking on anything. And they, ended up sending it to a BSL level 4 lab in Wuhan, China. Where guess what? The Kung flu, the China virus, the Wuhan flu came out, and we had COVID-19. And from here, Anthony Fauci got known as being the science. He's like, when you question me, you're questioning the science. And being obnoxious, but, being the darling of the left. Being the absolute darling of the left. And now we have to see him dealing with how things are. And today it's a little different. A little bit different. A little bit different for Anthony Fauci, because now not a lot of people like him. Now, not a lot of people like him. Hold on, chat. And when this went on, it's just, all kinds of stuff happened here. All kinds of stuff happened to Anthony Fauci. And he testified in front of Rand Paul and Josh Hawley and many others, including my former senator, Bernie Moreno, who fucking called him out. But Anthony Fauci did something that actually I'm not surprised he did. And we'll talk about why I'm not surprised he did it. But this is what happened here. This is Anthony Fauci dealing with Josh Hawley.
What did?
So this actually happened, chat. This actually happened.
What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color is the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What day of the week is it today?
So that happened, chat. That happened. And yes, as this went on, it's very funny because, Anthony Fauci went from being like, as he did this here.
Be the fifth. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything you say, fifth.
That's pretty much what he did. It's pretty much what he did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how he did it. That's what happened, guys. He pled the fifth. And honestly, to be fair, he's got a lot of reasons to plead the fifth. You might think, well, what does he have, or what reasons does he have to plead the fifth? There's actually quite a few. Reasons to plead the fifth. And the first thing you need to look at when you're determining, well, he got pardoned, right? Yes, but I mean, think about how many people think this pardon is invalid. In the current presidential administration, how many people say this isn't a valid pardon because there was an auto pen involved? And that this was auto penned. Think about that. There are people in the White House who are saying this is invalid. Well, if your pardon's invalid, guess what? I'd be telling him to shut up too. 100% to shut up about it. There's also other things that are coming out now we're seeing. This guy here, James Ultmeyer, he is the Attorney General for the state of Florida. The free state of Florida. Guess what he's saying? We're launching an investigation into Fauci. So there are state-level investigations into this. Yeah. Yeah, apparently everybody wants to take a bite out of your ass. also, more importantly, in front of Senator Hawley, when he says, "What color is the carpet?" Remember, he's in front of a room full of people. Switch up the parties. If it was a Republican, think about like Pete Hegseth or RFK. They're probably all going to plead the fifth. Because when you have like Senator, when you have, Representative Hakeem Jeffries or an AOC trying to cross-examine you, everything you say, they're going to try to put you in prison over. The people across the table from you want to hang you on every word. So what color is that carpet? What color is my shirt? Olive drab. No, I think it's actually Ranger green. We got a color swatch for Sherwin-Williams. We're going to charge you with perjury now, sir. We're going to hold you in contempt for lying. You see, like, that's why you don't do that. That's why you don't do that. And yeah, ultimately, that's the problem. Because that pardon only goes back, guys. Notice his pardon that Joe Biden signed. It only goes up to the date of from January 1st, 2014 through the date of this pardon. So what day was the pardon? The 19th day of January, 2025. So the pardon doesn't protect Fauci for right now. It doesn't protect him in front of Congress. It doesn't protect him what the state of Florida is going to look into. So he's going to say the fifth no matter what. And he'd be foolish not to. And I would tell you to do it if I were him, if I was his attorney. And that's on top of the whole argument of maybe his pardon isn't valid. Because if you're going to run around and say it's not valid and it's garbage and it shouldn't work, guess what? Then if we don't have a pardon, we're not going to say a goddamn thing. Now, does that mean he isn't a filthy, scummy weasel? No. Did he do a lot of shit that was wrong and he should be responsible for it? Yes. Should he be forced to look under his car every morning? Yes. Should he have to look over his shoulder every time he walks down a darkened alleyway? Yes. He's probably going to escape man's justice, but he won't escape God's. As much as I'd love him to face man's justice, I don't think he's going to face it. But you know what? He'll get what's coming to him at the end of the day. But pleading the fifth, that's entirely something makes total sense he would do. But it is very funny how cocky people are. And then when they realize that they're on their own.
You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science. Science and the truth are being attacked.
Under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
What a pussy. What a pussy. What a pussy. But, like I said, that's it. When somebody does a thing, I mean, life's dangerous out there, Fauci. You cause people to have to say goodbye to their loved ones, through a window. And then, your family members died in a hospital and then you couldn't even go to their funeral. People ain't forgetting that. Just like Wangro said, they ain't going to forget about you. They ain't. He ain't going to forget about you. Ain't going to forget about you. So Stella says he's not pardoned for his handling of grid. No, but gay-related immunodeficiency syndrome, or immune disease. Yeah, but that's 40 years ago. So, yeah. Yeah. So, something to think about. Something to think about there, Anthony. Good luck to you, buddy. Now, chat, let's move on to the thing I think all of you are here for. I think you are all here for this. We have some updates and the biggest love story the state of Minnesota has ever known. No, and it's not Helen of Troy in Paris. It's not Romeo. And not of Juliet and of her Romeo. No, chat. No. No. It is of Aaron Imholt and his betrothed, Nicholas Rekieta. Yes, chat. It is time. It is time. Anna, I hope you're out there watching. We finally got some content for you. So buckle up. Buckle up. And yes, to quote, as quoted, it was a very loving and romantic relationship. Oh. Now, chat, this is, and not only for chat, but the dabblers out there, because I know some of you are probably going to clip this. Some of you are going to watch this. Like, we need to get some ground rules out of the way. Look, I understand, Aaron, you guys don't like Aaron. I understand it's even more than that. You guys, Aaron's not a good person. Aaron Imholt's not a good person, and I get that. And I get that you guys think Aaron Imholt is like the baddest bad that has ever batted. Like, he's a bad man. He's just bad. I get it. Aaron Imholt's bad. He's like worse than everybody in the SS. You guys have to put up on big slides, like on big, put on big screen projectors in rooms. Aaron is not a good person. We get it. He's the worst of the worst human beings imaginable. Fucking ISIS. Those guys are fucking pussies compared to Aaron. The guys, drug dealers, the cartel members chopping people's heads off with chainsaws. They're not as bad as Aaron. I get it. Aaron's a monster. The baddest man ever imaginable. I get it. But let's get to what happened, because none of that matters. None of that matters here. None of that matters. So what do we have? Well, if you guys remember, we had the long-awaited final part of the HRO, the harassment restraining order hearing that Aaron had filed against Nick. And what happened? Well, at these hearings we saw, going back to the first part of the hearing that occurred last summer. If you guys remember, that is the one where we actually got to watch it on Zoom. And Nick comes in dressed up like the biggest fucking goober in the world with his little faggy Bono glasses on, and is just like, looking like a complete douchebag. And remember, Aaron's alleging these people are harassing him and doing all kinds of things. And this is where I warned the dabblers that, yeah, Aaron's case is kind of rickety and shaky. I didn't think he was going to win. But he's got a lot of good arguments that he can make that, depending on how Nick Rekieta reacted to them, would help out a lot. Because, having your little puppet show in the desert where you share private images of him, you drag a you guys drag a refrigerator 1,000 miles, you bring out his former high school friends, and all this, it to an average person looks fucking weird. It looks ridiculous. And I know you guys pish posh that. And then we, had a bunch of continuances, and we got to the final things of this hearing here in June. And what happened then? Well, in the meantime of that, we had another Hackamania where, once again, Nick and Melton put up pictures of Aaron, pictures that nobody had anywhere else. They had leaked his search history off Google. And then you also fly out Aaron's fucking goober, douchebag, local radio guy friend from high school again. And you do all this crap. It seems kind of weird, but okay. Once again, I get it. We all don't appreciate comedy. And then we finally had the rest of the hearing. And what did Nick do in that hearing? Nick acted like a complete fucking retard. And this is where I'll point out. Here's how Nick would have won this. If Nick would have shut the fuck up, and then when it came time for the hearing, if he came in and testified, a jacket that is solid colors, a shirt that is solid colors, and a tie that's solid colors. And if he had just come in and said, Your Honor, this man took pictures of my wife that were nude and shared them around, and he ended up pleading guilty to it, and he harassed my wife, and we merely had our laughs about him, we all came out to his court hearing to shame him and embarrass him. And that's not illegal. That is just public shaming. That's all you had to do. And you probably would have won. And this would have been over a long time ago. You would have won it. You had every ability to win this. But no, that didn't happen. And instead, well, I'm sorry, dabblers, but we're going to have some really tough discussions about this guy you've like been sucking off to make use to make fun of Aaron. Because it's a little awkward. It's a little awkward. So here we go. Here we go. It's going to be a little awkward, chat. So this is from the judge. And I apologize for this not being the best quality, but when it's taken off of a PDF and it's put into a JPEG and then I have to put it back into a PDF format, I don't know why we don't have the real document available, but whatever. Anyway, this is, remember, Aaron's attorney was like 11 days late, and then Nick was seeking a motion to dismiss. Well, the court's going to rehash a lot of stuff here, and here we go, because this is going to be good. Get yourself ready, chat. Here we go. Here we go. So this had two separate dates, August 29th of 2025 and June 5th of 2026. For contested evidentiary hearings on a harassment restraining order. And it says Aaron's been represented by Brian Johnson, who's done a great job. And Nick has been represented by two attorneys, Brian Lewis and Frank White. And we're going to get to some things here. So in June of 2025, Aaron filed the motions for this. He got an ex parte. And then Nick timely requested a hearing on the same date. And now here's the point. Much of the procedural history is outlined in the previous things here. The parties are two adults who have financial interest in using their voices across platforms to communicate about certain topics. Nick has repeatedly raised First Amendment in opposition to the HRO. At the first appearance held by Zoom, many individuals interested in this due to the public platforms appeared and disrupted the proceedings. And I will say, whether you're on the farms or you're a dabbler, yes, you guys fucked that all up for everybody. So thank you. I'm not really thanking you. So whoever did it, you're an asshole. And it said, still, the court held approximately 3 hours of testimony and received a number of exhibits. This right here alone, 3 hours for a restraining order, is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I've had them that go an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I've had like a couple. That's a long time to have a protection order hearing. That alone right there is already kind of pushing credulity. And it says respondent through lead counsel at the time had prepared numerous lengthy exhibits for potential submission. And guys, respondent is Nick. Certain potential exhibits were inadmissible unless the court received the whole video. For example, respondent argued it was not enough for the court to review respondent, another respondent of a separate but related petition for an HRO, another male, and a male in an apparent luchador-style wrestling mask with an apparent handheld Muppet making jokes together about a photo of the petitioner displayed in an event called Hackamania, yearly held in Las Vegas. He's not saying this because you guys are cool. He's saying like he's making fun of you guys, just so you understand out there. Respondent's counsel contended the court needed to review the entirety of the exhibits as the information was necessary to understand Nick's position. So Nick literally did the, no, Your Honor, you need to watch all of Hackamania. No. You need the context. You don't understand the comedy of this. Your Honor, you have to watch all the Hackamania. You have to watch the, you have to watch the verisimilitude of Tukey with his hand up a puppet's ass talking about Aaron and how it all works. And then you have to listen to Moody going, nar. And you have to listen to Carl going like, oh, you have to understand it all, Your Honor. Yes, because making the judge walk Hakamani, he's going to be like, I agree, this Aaron guy's a faggot. No. And also, Patrick Melton, you really need to look at bailing out of this because it's not going to be good for you. The respondent also we don't know what the rest of that is, so we'll keep moving. The parties agreed that an in-person hearing was necessary to handle the evidentiary issues given the interruptions, the undecided issues, and the volume of exhibits and the unexpected length of testimony. Yep. Also, there were some technology issues there, too. So the court granted a request for a status conference and issued a scheduling order. It set the hearing for October 25th. The scheduling order also agreed terms by the parties, a timeline for a transcript, discovery requirements, witness list, objections, a sequestration order, and requirements that individuals gauge in acceptable behavior during court, including from refraining of audio recording of the matter. Yes, chat. This is a big thing here. We're going to come back to this theme. Acceptable behavior during court. This is a secret tool that's going to help us later. It's going to be a secret tool that's going to help us later. Don't worry. We're going to get back to that. Aaron requested a continuance due to a conflict, his attorney having a sentencing date issue, and Aaron's stuff too. The court denied the continuance. The parties appeared in person. After a chambers discussion, the parties indicated there may be a resolution. So notice, Aaron and Nick's side indicated to the court there's something to work out, because notice the court saying, well, I thought there was. Unless we're going to argue the judge is lying. And then I guess we're once again, this is a conspiracy, I guess now. The court provided both parties separate rooms and the use of the court for the full day. Breaking for lunch and return. The parties indicated they were actively working on a resolution and they would submit an order to the court if another hearing was needed. The following week, the court received correspondence indicating that events had derailed the resolution. Of note, Aaron was upset that Nick had allegedly spent part of his time drawing a picture captioned, Dork Burt Goes to Court, and later publicly shared the picture by Melton, another HRO recipient who was represented by Nick's attorneys, and as a colleague of Nick and fellow Hackmania presenter. This is where the judge points out that he's noticing things. And we're not talking about the Jew noticing. He's just noticing. And was believed to be a potential witness in this case. Aaron indicated that this changed the potential settlement. Yeah. And remember, Chad, if you haven't seen this, Nick wrote and drew he drew a thing of Aaron. He drew a thing of Aaron. Like, let's not lie. Why would you share it? And why would this little piggy and all you dabbler guys sit there and laugh and jack off about it if it was Nick saying, look, my attorney's a fucking goober? Oh, you wouldn't. Just fucking say it with your chest. You were making fun of Aaron. Say it with your chest. What are you scared of? Well, because you realize that would look like harassing behavior. And that would be bad. But, what do I know? I'm just the creme brulee lawyer. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. But don't worry, Chad. It gets better from here. This is... why did this... I hate this when it goes in the wrong fucking order. Thank you. Thank you, Adobe. You suck. Anyways, the court had a telephone motion on November 14th with counts from both parties. The court was advised by Nick's attorney that the drawing was of him, not of Aaron. Now notice, Nick's attorneys cucked themselves and jumped on the grenade for Nick. No, Your Honor, my client was making fun of me and calling me a fucking retard. What? Like, have some fucking respect for yourself. Have some respect for yourself. You're going to let your client do that to you? And then the other guy you're representing is looking at you and laughing at you. No, it's such bullshit. That's such bullshit. And I guarantee you the judge saw through that. Number one. Number two, Brian Lewis or Frank White, is it worth lying for Nick for your fucking law license? Is it worth that? defending Nick's honor and the fucking, we're protecting the Dabbleverse, and you know how the Dabbleverse is protecting the institution of shock jock comedy and shock jock radio. You know, they're here guarding America. You know, we need them on that wall. Is it worth it risking your fucking law license for all of this? This is so fucking stupid. It's so fucking retarded. Why would you risk that? Why would you risk that? Number one, but then more importantly, just, you know, I wouldn't let my fucking client do that to me. Fuck that. Are there times where I've jumped on a grenade for a client, like maybe they misunderstood how they would get there? And like, Your Honor, maybe I told them the wrong time. I don't know. Maybe they misunderstood me, Your Honor. I'll jump on that grenade. I've done that before. Any good attorney will. But not like, Your Honor, my client's a piece of shit like that. Fuck that. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. Have some fucking self-respect. So, the parties continue to engage in discussions. Notice there's nothing here that says, I don't want to do this anymore. On February 23rd, they held another scheduling conference to check in. The court was advised by Mr. Lewis that Frank White had been unavailable due to personal injury issues. Again, the details are personal, thus not included in this order. We're going to get back to this part too, because this kind of matters for what happened to Aaron's attorney. The court did not receive any written filings from Nick's attorney confirming the delay in any discussions or setting of a continued evidentiary hearing. For months, any delay in this matter being reset was partially, if not largely, attributable to Nick and or his counsel. Now, I understand Nick's like, I did not tell them to do nothing. But once again, Nick's getting back to this issue of apparently his attorneys don't talk to him or they don't do what he wants, which is malpractice, is something you should grieve them for. And Patrick Melton, you should understand, if these guys fucking suck as much as Nick keeps saying they do, why are you using them? Find your own attorney who's gonna like actually communicate. And if he wants to file things or needs to file things, he fucking does it. Don't rely on these fucking goobers, because Nick is establishing their goobers. Number one, they'll let Nick shit all over them. And then number two, Nick's like, oh, this didn't happen. Well, then, Nick, who's telling the fucking truth here? I believe the judge over you, buddy. I do. Sorry. The court set a settlement conference for April 13th, the day after the hollowed, you know, the gathering to protect America in the high desert. Hackamania. Mr. Lewis informed the court that the parties and Mr. Melton, whose case was tracking and needed to be reset, had been unable to reach a settlement. Finally, they sought to cancel the April hearing so they could attend the Hackamania with Melton, who also sought a continuance. Aaron objected, noting the Hackamania was a source of the alleged harassing conduct. It's a partial basis for the petition, yeah. Also, it doesn't help, once again, you don't object the week before the hearing. You should have objected and said, we can't do this back in, February. Like, right here is the time. This is the time to do it. February 23rd, you're like, Your Honor, we're going to be out of town these days. We need a different date. You don't come up to the week before the hearing and say, well, Judge, we need more time. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Not how that works. Not how that works. So the court preliminarily denied the continuance, noting the information being presented for several months by Nick's counsel. The court allowed for a stipulated agreement to avoid violations of the HRO or potential future acts that could be added to an amended HRO petition. So, guys, and this is once again dabblers. I know Nick tried to tell you, like, if they just ran out the clock, it would go away, or you can't add things to it. No, even the judge is agreeing you can amend your petitions, and if you engage in further harassing behavior, that can affect what you're dealing with. Like, it's not like that's all untouchable behavior. So even the court's recognizing, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? The respondents didn't sign a stipulation. The hearing remained scheduled. Nick appeared on the 13th. Melton did not, after a last-minute doctor's note. He didn't appear for the hearing and thus would not have been available as a witness. The court set the matters for June 5th. As the parties were leaving, Nick loudly elected to attempt to educate Mr. Johnson, Aaron's attorney, on the harassment statute. I know Nick tried to sit here and tell you, like, guys, you don't understand. I did it. And it was like, I was using psychological warfare. I big dogged him. I stood up to him and said, you better know the statutes, bucko, because I do. I'm sure in Nick's head, this Walter Mitty idea of what happened, I'm sure it was basically that. He sounded like a fucking lunatic. And I'm sure that didn't impress the judge, because now you're looking like the crazy man. Because Aaron comes in and says, Your Honor, this crazy guy's acting like a fucking stalker. And what do you have? A crazy guy acting like a fucking crazy person. Because who yells at the attorneys? Fucking crazy people. Just think about that. Yes, and then everyone clapped. And the judge said, the judge took off his cloak and he said, hey, kid, catch. And he threw it to Nick, just like Mean Joe Green. That's exactly how Nick probably thought it goes. I'm sure that's how Nick thought this went. But, for the dabblers out there, this is fucking cringe. This is cringe. Holy shit. On June 5th, the parties appeared for the continued hearing. The hearing lasted all day, involving testimony from Aaron and Nick, submission of exhibits, and the denial of a motion to dismiss. At several points in Nick's testimony, he became argumentative, especially with Aaron's attorney, Bryan. The court eventually had to call a recess to ensure Nick was able to conduct himself in a manner that avoided need to find him in contempt. Nick threw a fucking temper tantrum out there. Dabble sisters. This is the guy you're playing footsie with to own Aaron. A grown-ass man who had a fucking temper tantrum in court. Because when you want to show you're not a crazy lunatic stalker, coming into court and saying, Your Honor, but I've seen his penis and it's crooked and he ate my goo. That's the real pro gamer move. That surely doesn't sound like a fucking psychopath stalker. Your Honor, no, I had to show naked pictures of him because we had a special private agreement in our private relationship we had. And he's my boyfriend, Your Honor. Do you think that's how you need to come across? Is that how you win this? Or do you, like I said before, you come in? Your Honor, this man harassed my wife. And Your Honor, all the stuff he's complaining about, it's over a year ago. We haven't done anything else since then. This man's just a criminal and he's washed up. And he's just mad at the world. Nobody watches his show. And he fakes super tips and he fakes his chats. I pity Aaron. I feel sad for him because he's such a loser. Thank you, Your Honor. And get down to stand. You know which one probably would have made you look like a good guy and win? That. Not what you did. Not what you did. And also screaming faggot at people. I want to say the word faggot in court. Do you think that won the day for you? It doesn't sound like it did, buddy. It doesn't sound like it did. Oh, they tolerate Nick to fuck with Aaron. They do a lot more than tolerate him. They bob on his knob like it's corn on the cob. I mean, really. Just saying. It's just ridiculous. I mean, just I feel like Menelaus in fucking Troy. It's like, this is what you're using to fight Aaron? This is your champion? Oh. Anyways, Nick was able to complete his testimony, was allowed significant latitude to explain his knowledge of a viewpoint on the facts in the case and the relationship with the First Amendment. Nick indicated several times during his case that he believes he understands the law very clearly and certainly better than Aaron and his attorney. just Nick, the judge does not think you're funny. He does not think you're cool. And he doesn't think you know what you're talking about. Read the social cues, buddy. He thinks you're a fucking goober. He thinks you're a fucking goober. They say Mr. Lewis, to his credit, had no issues with appropriately advocating for his client legal and factual position, meaning Bryan did good job. Like, when you're up there on stage, you're like, I'll put on my lawyer hat. Ha! No, it's gay. It's cringe. Like you weren't fucking impressing anybody. You weren't impressing anybody. Both parties agreed to a briefing schedule. Aaron's initial brief was due June 26th. Nick's was due July 31st. And then Aaron had till August 21st to respond. It was anticipated that Aaron's initial brief would address the merits of the alleged acts that could establish a statutory basis for the First Amendment or the HRO. Nick would challenge that basis, raise additional First Amendment challenges, and that Aaron would then respond to additional legal arguments. Aaron filed a request to extend to July 3rd due to an illness and noted he was requesting a transcript. The court granted the request and ordered the transcript be provided. Nick could request a similar extension with a potential deadline reply. Aaron didn't file until July 14th, 11 days late. Aaron filed an apology for the delay, noting for the record he had been dealing with certain personal issues, and agreed that Nick's briefing deadline should be extended, and it should. Because of that delay. Because of that delay. Because of that delay. Prior to Aaron's brief being submitted, Nick's counsel filed a letter asking the case be dismissed. After Aaron's counsel responded via email, the substance of the rationale given in the email was provided in Aaron's letter requesting acceptance of the late briefing. Nick's counsel received this information, as well as with Mr. White's situation. No additional information need to be filed publicly. This right here, chat, is equal application of the rules. Whatever Frank White went through, we're not going to hash it up. Shit happens in life. Aaron's attorney needed that grace. The court extended it to him. Equal treatment. This isn't evil Stearns County conspiracy. I don't think Alicia Sweep was speaking to anybody. I don't think Jim Felt was talking to anybody. Evil Detective Pomplin wasn't talking to anybody. The evil people at the church weren't talking to anybody. The judge just looked and said, hey, I cut you some slack. I'm cutting you some slack. We're going to work on this together. Notice he doesn't even take the time. Whatever 4 factors Nick is citing doesn't, from what I've been able to see people doing research on, doesn't even fucking apply in this situation. The court doesn't even waste time addressing it. At the time, the briefing schedule was open-ended, as Aaron had not offered a second revised schedule. Nick indicated in the letters that the brief was likely largely written before the continued hearing. And this is where it gets funny, chat, because Nick's going to get called out on his shit. This is where it gets even better. That his client's status as a public figure regularly sought after for legal commentary, who continues to receive national media attention as recently as this morning. I'm pretty sure that was the whole Daily Mail reporting on Nick being a fucking convicted of felony cocaine possession and everything. And believes his First Amendment rights are being injured in the delay. But if he's being sought after for legal commentary and everybody believes in him and likes him and thinks he's cool and hip and popular, how are his rights being injured? Oh. These filings predate Aaron's brief and the letter Aaron's counsel filed. While there has been a delay in Aaron's briefing schedule, the final deadline has not been extended. The matter is not to be sent under advisement until August 21st. As Nick's counsel appears to argue, Aaron did not need to request a transcript and likely would have drafted his brief before the hearing. And once again, this is why this is the judge. Like, I know Nick acts like he doesn't do any of this stuff, but like, if you're not doing this, Nick, then your attorneys are the dumbest fucking faggots in the world. I don't know which one you and they take you. They literally, you give them money and they take it from you, and then they fucking suck. So not only has Aaron cucked you, but these attorneys are cucking you. They're cucking you out of money. If that's what you want to say, and that's how you want to handle this, I guess. I don't know. You're the one saying it, not me. If this was all true, it's unclear why you, Nick, and his attorneys haven't been able to hammer out their own shit. Basically, if you're making all these fucking claims up, why aren't you fucking done? Plus, the additional briefing time allotted to Nick, allowing him to prepare to argue against 2 or more harassing acts. Yeah, it's just like, you're talking all this shit, but there you sit not doing anything. Oh, we'll file your fucking brief. Let's go. Let's go. You know, claiming it's all bullshit. Well, the court has preliminarily reviewed the brief. What does it do? Well, it focuses on the facts in the case, provides citations to transcripts and exhibits, and cites the statute. So they did the thing. You just can't go in there and go, that's not true. That's all you've done so far. It's not right. You don't know the statute. Prove he doesn't know it. Prove he doesn't know it. Aaron does not seek to address any of the potential First Amendment claims Nick indicates will be raised, and does not cite additional case law. To be fair, he doesn't necessarily know all the things Nick is going to raise, so he should be able to respond later, but the court's going to address that. While the deadline remains open, Nick continues to file documents seeking relief. With 2 weeks left in the original briefing window, but in agreement for an extension August 14th, Nick filed a motion to dismiss. The next day, Nick filed a slightly amended motion to dismiss, clarifying the request was to grant the motion, and attached to the filings was a letter seeking a fee waiver. And this is where it's like, to be fair, they should be granted a fee waiver. It's like, we're having to respond to this shit. And I agree. So they say in total, the respondent's finally seeking dismissal as long as Aaron's principal brief. They say they first seek another hearing date to address the motion. Remember, the guy, he's like, I need this over now. I need another court date also, Judge. It's like, which one do you fucking want? Do you want it to be over, or do you want to have a million hearings? You got to pick. You got to pick. You know, they indicate that the attorneys are unavailable from, through the middle of July, which is why Respondents' Counsel agreed to a July 31st responsive deadline. Nick indicates that his counsel will be gone again until November. Well, I was going to say gone until November, but August 15th. Respondent notes his First Amendment injuries received in the purported delay. Nick fails to account for the months where his attorney was not available. Once again, I know Nick's saying that's not true, but it's true. It's true. Fails to recognize that at the first hearing, his attorney thought to introduce hours-long video under the rule of completeness. Yes. It's been dragging on. You wanted to make him watch full segments of Hackamania. You don't get to come up the works and then bitch about it. Sought to introduce some of these items as impeachment, thus never sharing them with Aaron, which means okay, well, we got to figure out what's going on, which means there's no meaningful preparation to ensure the hearing could have been conducted in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah. Just keeping that shit all in your pocket and then dumping it on the table. And we're like, okay, we're ready to go. That's not how that works. It's not how any of this works. It's not how any of this works. Oh, just Jesus. Just Jesus. Jesus de Cristo. Just don't make no sense, chat. They could have been good, or otherwise fails to note the circumstance of the initial Zoom hearing, fails to reference a full day of court's calendar allotted to Aaron and Nick to discuss a resolution that would adopt the terms, that both parties represented were unique to their professional status, part of which he apparently spent doodling. Yes, Nick, drawing your little fucking gay little Dorkberg picture looks like you're out there fucking off. And then, when you had the Zoom hearing, you're just like, Mom, you look like you don't. Yes, remember, Looking like an asshole in court is never a good idea. You're not owning anybody except yourself. That's a free legal tip for everybody. Don't look like a fucking faggot in the courtroom. It's never a good idea. It fails to account for the court denying Aaron's continuance as requested for similar reasons to the denial of Nick's request. And it says both parties should have been aware of the court dates that were agreed to. Yeah, so they agreed to the 13th. Thus, it's unclear why Nick booked a plane ticket or agreed to participate in Hackamania, the very event which is part of the hearing of this case. Yes, so they agreed to this. And then they come back later and ask for a continuance. Why would you do that? Why? 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 Why would you do that? Or even better, why Kayla had to attend the hearing only involving Nick and Aaron. Yes. Why did Kayla have to be there? Well, you don't understand, so they took the wet eye flight back. It was so bad. She could have sat in the fucking car. She could have gone to a coffee shop. She could have driven home. Why did she have to come sit in the fucking courtroom? Remember, this is the woman who's like, I'm so terrified of Elwin. Elwin's so scary. Oh! But she sat in the courtroom with him. Apparently not that bad. Makes you wonder, chat. Makes you wonder. But I'm just asking questions. And it fails to account for the full day allotted for continued hearings, a hearing that was extended by a delay and break so that Nick himself avoided making further statements that could be deemed contentious. Yes. Because you kept acting like a fucking retard. Nick instead submitted a 52-paragraph affidavit and 4-page memorandum while his brief is pending. Yes. While you're supposed to drop some, I know the statute. Then write about the fucking statute. Instead, you cried and cried. While respondent's memorandum addresses the email sent by Bryan Johnson and received by Nick's counsel, it does not address the rationale provided by Bryan in apologizing for his delay and seeking an extended deadline. As such, Nick asked the court for a motion hearing to address the failure to timely request the extension, in part because Nick's attorney is unavailable during part of his remaining briefing schedule. It is unclear how a motion hearing at some undisclosed time will help with Nick's concerns for being done. Yeah. Yeah, it's a 52-paragraph affidavit. 52 paragraphs. 52 paragraphs. So. Yeah. It's unclear why the respondent was or is not actively preparing his arguments, especially when noting Aaron should have had his brief largely completed prior to the contested hearings, asserting free speech grounds that Nick and counsel are well-versed in. That's another fuck you from the judge. That well-versed in. He doesn't think you're well-versed in it. He doesn't. And dealing with issues that are not unique. Once again, he's mocking you. He's mocking you. Moreover, Nick continues to be regularly sought after for legal commentary and continues to receive national media attention. Thus, it's unclear how the delay is actually impinging on his reputation, interest, or constitutional rights. Now, Nick, this is where be a man and just tell him, Your Honor, I want to talk about Aaron. Unless you realize that makes you sound like the fucking lunatic stalker that Aaron is trying to make you out to be. No, but you notice Nick won't do that because he's not that stupid. Well, I think he's not that dumb. Let's see if he is. To the extent Nick himself complains of the 11-week briefing schedule, the court notes is prepared to address this matter when the parties were. Nick's deadline was set for July 31st and has not passed. Yeah. You could still file your fucking motion and be done. You could file at any time. To date, Nick has not filed anything substantive relating to the merits of the case. The evidence was all submitted and is before the court. The court finds the briefings agreed upon by the parties will be helpful. Nick himself agrees this is not a complicated response, calling the petition obviously frivolous. calling petitioner's brief embarrassing and short, claiming it blatantly misstates the law, facts, and record. It is a perfect representation of Aaron's naked attempt to falsely utilize the court to suppress Nick's rights. Moreover, Nick, who is a lawyer and regularly injected his testimony with his own legal knowledge, gave detailed answers to his belief that his actions, if proven, were protected under the First Amendment. Noting that he was pretty good at the First Amendment and clearly articulating his statements in this case were protected speech. He's calling you out, Nick. He's not actually oh, I think Mr. Rekieta is a good jurisprudential scholar. He's not. He's not. Respondent was also combative and argumentative with Bryan Johnson, speculating on Bryan's personal life. The court is, and this is the pro gamer move, chat. This is the pro gamer move of everything else. The court is concerned that Nick's motivation in attempting to require Bryan to prove additional information in the file is similarly designed with the purpose of antagonizing or attempting to harass counsel. You know, I'm just the creme brulee lawyer. I'm the sandwich man. I'm fat. I'm fat, Chad, if you didn't know. Fat. I'm fat. But, I did pass the bar. I did go to law school. And this is something we need to think about here. In Ohio, this idea of antagonizing and embarrassing somebody, we would call that harassment. So when you're at a harassment restraining order hearing and it looks like you're harassing parties, you're kind of answering the question for the other side. And not only when you're harassing, opposing counsel, but you're up there screaming about another man's cock and about this special secret contract relationship you had. And why you had to travel 1,000 miles to go show half-naked pictures of him and laugh at him and do all this weird shit. As Mersh says, your puppet show in the desert. You're kind of establishing you're fucking harassing somebody. You're kind of telling everybody, I'll show you harassment because you're harassing people. Aaron's out here trying to say you're out, and that's funny because I know a lot of dabbers are like, these laws are meant to protect women from crazy stalker boyfriends who act like this. So you're playing yourself here. You're playing yourself. Just saying here. Just saying. Something to think about. It's something to think about. Once again, what do I know? What do I know? I don't know much. But what do I know? What do I know? We'll keep going, though. Regardless, the briefing deadlines have not expired. Nix fails to cite authority that would require the court to dismiss the petition due to a late filed brief, later argued by counsel as for family reasons. Yeah. All that shit Nick was citing don't actually apply here, looks like. So Nick does not cite authority that a motion dismissed for failing to file a brief as opposed to failing to appear or failing to present evidence is appropriate after a fully contested hearing and a harassment restraining order. It sounds like Nick kind of misapplied authority here. It's like, you got to know them statutes. Got to know that law. Although he fails to accurately include his own involvement in the delays, it's absolutely correct this HRO has gone on much longer than the court or the parties hoped for. Yes. Yes. Once again, self-induced failures. The court has done everything possible to ensure the parties are heard, and for months, respondent's own counsel was not prepared to respond and move forward. Yeah. Oof. Now Nick has the opportunity to fully litigate his defense. Yep. The court is prepared to take the matter under advisement upon submission of the final briefs. Setting a motion hearing when Nick makes no claim the briefing delay was actually Aaron's own fault any more than the delay in setting the final hearing was Nick's own fault simply invites further delay. It does. It does. Nick correctly states the agreed upon briefing schedule was premised on Aaron filing a timely brief. The court understands the reason posited, family issues and illness for an extension, but it's not fair to Mr. Lewis and Nick to require their brief to be due within a window of time where Bryan is unavailable. For these reasons, and to ensure fairness, the court will extend Nick's briefing deadline to August 21st. Aaron will not be allowed to submit a reply brief without the leave of court, meaning he can, but he has to file a motion with the court and ask for leave, saying, Your Honor, we would like to respond. Now, the court can grant it or it could deny it, but they have to ask first. The court will then take the matter of the advisement on August 21st. So defendant's motion to dismiss is denied. Aaron's late brief is accepted for the reasons articulated. Nick has till the 21st to respond. Aaron may not submit a reply brief without permission of the court, and the court will take everything under advisement on the 21st. Yeah. I mean, if it, like, once again, if you had just not acted like a complete fucking retard, you'd have been done already and probably won. As I stated from the beginning, this is yours to lose. And now Aaron's out in front. Now, you have a great advantage, Nick. Aaron loves stepping on rakes. He's like a rake-seeking missile. So he's probably going to step on one here soon. But in the meantime, you just pulled your balls out and stomped all over them with golf shoes. I'm talking about like those old school golf shoes with the big metal spikes. I don't know why. I don't know why you did it. But I hope you feel better, like you got one over and you were able to, you were going to, I don't know what your magic words were you were going to say, but apparently you thought you had magic words. You thought you were going to wow and, you were going to give him the pizzazz. You're going to hit him with the Riz. What did you hit him with? This judge thinks you're a fucking asshole. You go into court, act like a complete dickhead twice, where the judge has to time it out and put a timeout because you're acting like such a fucking faggot. Yeah, that's the Chad move. That's the pro gamer move. Pissing the court off and acting like a harassing fucking psychopath. It's like that meme goes, like, that's big brain thinking. But honestly, though, Patrick Melton, you should find new attorneys because Nick has poisoned the water hole, and Frank White and Bryan Lewis are fucking idiots, and they've done nothing to make the situation better. So you really should get your own attorney. Get someone else. These guys are not going to help you. Nick is not someone you should be relying on for legal advice at this point. Like, you're better off just going on your own and figuring it out, because can't do much worse than the Knicks. Like, I assume you're smart enough not to go into court and start talking about Aaron's penis and talking about him eating goo and, calling people faggots in court. I think Melton's smart enough not to do that. And already he's going to be light years ahead of Nick. Get a better attorney. You need new attorneys, man. These guys are not helping you, and they will not help you. I mean, you still got your own problems of not showing up to court and all that, but that's a separate matter for a different day. You need to get somebody else to help you. Maybe that attorney can negotiate something where you could get this all reset without showing up. I don't know. But Frank White and Bryan Lewis are not the droids you're looking for. They are not going to help you with this. Save yourself. Save yourself, because you really want to go down with this ship. You really want to go down tied to Nick as he's flailing around and drowning. That's not the way to go, man. That is not the way to go. And I'm being honest. Not like, if you want to keep that rope between you and Nick tied on, I guess, but get a better lawyer. Even Kayla isn't using Frank White and Bryan Lewis. She's trying to find a different lawyer for things. For her HRO, she's finding her own lawyers. Even she knows they suck. Get different lawyers. So, Anyways, chat, that is where you go. Oh. There you go, chat. There you go. That's the update you've all been waiting for. So, yeah, that is the update you've all been waiting for. Oh, well, what is this here? 2 hours, 2 minutes covering Fauci, 2 minutes, 2 hours covering Nick and Aaron. He pled the fifth. What do you want? Like, what do you want me to say? Like, all the times he pled the fifth, was each one of those accurate? He pled the fifth. Not much you can do there, man. Not much you can do there. So, not much you can do. Yeah, this is a total Baldo victory. Totally. Yes. All right, moving on from there, guys. Moving on from there. Bryan Kohberger. You guys may remember him. He did a little bit of slice and dice of a couple of co-eds out in the University of Idaho. You may have heard about this. He stabbed them all and, somehow left his knife sheath for his K-bar knife at the crime scene, just in the piles of blood, and somehow left a little bit of DNA on it. And through police work and research in the area, they were able to figure out it's Bryan Kohberger who murdered these people. And it's still weird because one of the things I don't understand is Bryan Kohberger murdered these people, brutally butchered these 4 college students so bad they ended up tearing down the house, blood just everywhere. And they never found any blood on Bryan, in his car, or in his apartment. I mean, like, he got a perfect score on the forensic stuff. I get he was in school for forensics and all that. But even then, like, even Dexter wasn't 100% perfect. And I still don't understand. Like, that's a part of me I don't get. Because everybody screws up. Everybody screws up. But apparently he didn't. He didn't screw up on the forensic part, which is really weird. And yes, apparently Cy Ray, the defense expert that was hired, said in the interview wasn't what was in his report. That's actually something that kind of upsets me because you were hired to be a defense expert. He shouldn't be giving interviews. As an expert for one side or another, you're expected to be, discreet. If you want to go out and talk about the case, talk about the case. But you also shouldn't be holding yourself out on the defense team. You shouldn't. Because things happen. Like, maybe there's a new trial. Why might there be a new trial, you ask? Well, it's not going to happen. But it's possible. It's possible. Because something, there was a thing that happened. Bryan Kohberger is filing a motion for post-conviction relief. And I love his handwriting. God, it's awful. This is really bad handwriting. It's like a 10-year-old. But anyways, it's from Bryan Kohberger. For those of you ladies out there who want to send him your letters, here's his IDOC number, 163214. He's at 13400 South Pleasant Valley Road in Kuna, Idaho, 83624. That is the Idaho State Penitentiary. Yes, he's in the maximum security place right now. So what is he doing? He's seeking post-conviction relief, chat. So what is post-conviction relief? It's any relief that's outside of your direct appeal process. So your appeal is your appeal, and you appeal it to an intermediate court, and then you could appeal sometimes to your state Supreme Court, but that's discretionary. Most states, you're not guaranteed a right to appeal to your Supreme Court. Okay, well, after that's over and you're going to lose because almost everybody loses, you can do things like motion for a new trial, new evidence, things that didn't occur properly, a habeas corpus petition through federal court. Those are all what's called post-conviction relief. And like the name infers, post-conviction relief. You're seeking relief after you've been convicted and after your appeals and outside of your appeals. So he's at the Idaho Maximum Security Prison. So and this is all on a form. And you guys might say, why is that a form? Because all these guys file these all the time, and it's so much easier to do it this way. But these guys, people in prison file these things all the time. All the time. So what is he doing? Well, 4 counts of capital murder, felony burglary. Date of sentence, July 23rd, 2025. Life without parole, LWOP, plus 10 years. Now, there are some things we have to worry about, guys. These post-conviction relief things are all timed. Every state is different on their timing, and under the federal law, you have 1 year from your conviction. So he's probably late because this was filed on the 27th. Although it depends. Did he mail, like if you check the date, it's the 27th. Did he mail it out? When did that go? Because sometimes that tolls that. I don't know. But for the most part, he's probably shit out of luck at the federal level. But the state level, he's more than fine because he has like 40 days to do an appeal. And under state law, he has like a year after that time is up and your appeal time is expired. So he has July 23rd plus 40 some days. So whether a finding guilty was made after the plea. Guilty, yes. Well, if there was a finding of not guilty, we wouldn't be here anyway. Did you appeal the judgment of conviction, the imposition sentence? No. That's important because that limits certain things you can challenge. So what is he arguing here? Ineffective assistance of counsel. Okay. Specifically what? The plea was not knowing voluntarily entered because it was induced by unkept promises. Like what? Now, here's the problem. If Bryan says, oh, well, they were going to promise to get me probation. Okay, well, that was not going to, like, there's no way they did that. But depending on, like, lower level misdemeanors and things like that, and even some low level felonies, people might come in and say, hey, man, if you plead to this, we can get you probation. And then they don't get probation. Yeah, that could be a problem. And you don't make promises you can't keep. Well, as an attorney, can I really make any promises that I can keep? No. So you don't make promises. You don't make promises. Can't keep them. Can't keep them. Now, the other thing here is pleas have to be knowing, voluntary, and intelligently entered. You have to have all three. Plea has to be knowingly, voluntary, and intelligently entered. You have to have all three. If you don't, we have problems. That was done of your own free will. The plea not voluntarily entered because of threats asserted by petitioner's legal counsel. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean his attorneys are beating him with a phone book? I don't think that's probably what happened. He had those dainty women on his team. Did they tell him, if you don't plea out, you're gonna get convicted and they're going to fucking execute you? Yes, but is that a threat? No, that's the reality of the situation. Now, Bryan, if you go to trial, you're gonna get the fucking needle. Yeah. I tell clients before, dude, if you go to trial, you're going to lose and you're going to get 35 years in prison probably. This offer for 5 is probably as good as it's going to get. I would not recommend you going to trial. They literally have you on camera with a gun in your hand. Or they have your, the DNA from inside the victim matches you. You should probably take the plea. Happens all the time. And remember, the reason why these are issues for Bryan is when Bryan had his plea hearing, we watched that. Are you entering this plea knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently? Yes. Has anybody made you any threats to make this plea? No. Has anybody promised you anything outside of what's in this plea agreement to make this plea? And he said no. So he's already said nothing happened. And now he's saying it did. Well, he's got some issues here. And we're going to get through all that here in a minute, guys. So any petitions for habeas corpus? No. Any other motions pending? No. So what are they saying? Failure to disclose or review exculpatory evidence, claiming there was unknown hair in Ethan Chapin's hand. Says during plea discussions, I have a tough time believing that's the case, but maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Counsel's insistent that petitioner's plea need not be truthful, despite petitioner's vehement denial of actual guilt. Yeah, I don't think they told him. That's okay. You don't just please so you don't get could it be maybe do attorneys ever lie or anything like that? Yeah, they do sometimes. But no, not Kathy Nestor. That was Corey Richins. Different attorney here. They had different attorneys. Guy Remectus was an idiot to take a plea. He was going to get fucking convicted. He was going to get convicted. Are you serious? He was not walking away from this one. He was not walking away from it. No chance in hell was he walking away. Let me tell you what. No. This is probably the best thing he could have done. Yeah, guys, this is not Tyler Robinson's attorney. That was Corey Richins. That was in Utah. This is Ann Richards, and she was up in Idaho. Promises made by counsel regarding LWOP statutes. LWOP status, and that's the immediate contact visits, freedom of movement, employment, and elaborate lies of death row life. Well, I mean, some of that they may have been wrong on, but also if the prison changes its policies, there's nobody who can do anything about that. The court can't, you couldn't make out a plea agreement saying, I get visitation right away. That's not how that works. You are bound by the rules of the institution, and the rules of the institution can change. They might say, based on our rules, you get a visit the first and third Sunday of every month. They might switch it to the Saturday because they might say you're entitled to X amount of personal space that you have a storage locker that you can fit into. They might reduce that size. They might expand that size. You might be eligible for jobs based on your status. Then you might not be. Those are all things that, because I've had clients ask me before. I'm like, I don't know, man. Even if I got you information right now, 6 months from now, the prison system can change what they're going to do. And they frequently do. What classes are available to you? Those change all the time. During COVID especially, nobody got anything. But even then, classes get continued or discontinued and new ones come in. Boom, boom. Education programs change, education requirements. Everything changes in prison, and there's no way to control for it. So this one here especially, I find a little suspicious from Bryan. But this one here, I really don't think happened. And then, especially this one up here, fail to disclose exculpatory evidence. I don't think that happened. I don't think that happened. I really don't think that happened. Job well done says you don't get visitation right away. No. Many places you have some time where you have to get inside there and deal with it. For example, in Ohio, you don't go straight to a correctional institution. You go to what's called the Correction Reception Center, CRC. It's outside of Columbus, and it's like a feeder prison. Everybody there gets, not like deer feeder, everybody there gets, you get assessed for security threat. You get a health assessment, mental health assessment, education assessment. They do all different things, and they figure out what prison they're going to send you to as they classify you. That's common in a lot of places. And during that time, yeah, you get some visits, but it's really restricted. And the first couple of weeks, you don't get any. When you first get there, you don't have phone privileges because it's like they're trying to get their shit sorted out. You're not worried about you. When you move to a new facility, there's a little bit of time lag to catch up on that. You're not entitled to visits right away. Some prisons have very strict visit schedules, and based on your last name or your prison number, how you get to meet with people. And some places, depending on your security level, you have to visit behind glass. Sometimes you're only entitled to video visits. And then Gisato says, what's an immediate contact visit? A contact visit's like you see in the movies. Like you're sitting at the table with the person. You're like, you might be able to hold hands. Sometimes you can't. But like you can go get like a pop out of the vending machine. And you guys could sit there and drink a pop, and you could play games of cards, or if you got your kids, you can color or build Legos or whatever it is, and do that kind of stuff. That's what a contact visit is. When I'm as an attorney going into jails, a lot of times they say, do you need to have a contact? Like when you go up to the door and you're like, I need to see my client. And they say, do you need contact, or is no contact okay? Well, sometimes I just need to talk to them. So we'll go and we have special, setup area where, we can talk to each other through the glass. Sometimes it's on phones that are not recorded because it's attorney-client set up for that. And we'll talk back and forth, or we talk through the glass. Or sometimes I've had clients where they didn't feel comfortable with that. So I would write shit out and hold it up to the window, and they would say yes or no to my questions. But sometimes you do need contact. Like I got a bunch of discovery we need to go through. I got a video we need to watch. It also, a lot of times, like if you can get away with it, you do a contact visit because, it helps them like maintain a little bit of sanity when they're stuck in jail, because they're stuck in a pod with a bunch of other people who are probably driving them crazy. And at least in that room, when you're sitting there, it's quiet, and you give them, and they're getting respect, and they're giving you respect, and it's calm. So, there's times where like I'll give my client, when they want to read through something, I say, do you want like a minute or two of just quiet to read? And I say, cool, here's a pen, mark down what you have questions with, mark down your notes, and I'll sit here for a minute. And you just sit there, give them some time, and just, you're chilled out. And that helps a lot for people, just to help them focus. So contact visits can be a thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. The court can't order that stuff. Now, it's a little different in federal prison. The federal prison system, the judge can order where you go. They can order certain things to occur. But at the state level, that generally doesn't happen, and it's not something within his authority. So Bryan Kohberger is going to keep going on here. And from here, is he seeking leave to proceed in forma pauperis, meaning is he indigent and can't afford counsel? Yes. What does he want to do? He wants to withdraw his guilty plea. And now this becomes the issue. He has not only pled guilty, but when you change your plea at that point, once you plead guilty, and you say, I changed my mind, before you've been sentenced, you're in this area where the court's kind of inclined to do it. But once you get sentenced and you're over that line and you're now past it and you're in the territory of being sentenced, it's really hard to come back and get over that. You have to show some sort of manifest injustice that occurred for you to be allowed to withdraw your plea. Now, if they threatened him, that would be a manifest injustice. If they didn't disclose certain evidence, depending on the situation, that could be a manifest injustice. But once again, it is a very hard burden to meet. It's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but you're in lottery ticket territory. And a lot of times people want a new trial. They want to withdraw their plea because of sour grapes. Buyer's remorse. Well, sorry, doesn't count. Can't get it because of that. Can't get it because of that, chat. So they were stealing his desserts. I mean, that's not a reason either. That's not a reason either. So Patty says only poor people go to prison. Well, to an extent. What? It's pop. Yes, you get pop. The pop machine has pop. We're not going to call it. We're not calling Dr. Pepper Coke. I can't stand people in the South. I want a Coke. What kind of Coke? A Coke or a Sprite Coke? A Dr. Pepper Coke? Or a root beer Coke? Like, see, that doesn't make any sense. You got to work on your shits in the South. So, Does Sean give his clients conjugal visits? No, I don't steal your mom's work. That would be so mean of me to do. Soda is pop and ice cream. I don't know about that, but soda's what my grandfather put with his doers when he made his scotch and soda. That he all right. But anyways, so he's seeking relief here. And he wants it granted. Now, the court did do something already. This came out yesterday. He got appointed counsel already. The court appointed public defender's office, and they said, go investigate this and figure out what's going on. Now, his attorney is going to go talk to Bryan, and then he's going to go talk to, Ann Richards or Ann Taylor, his public defender, and the attorneys who represented him during the trial. And, this becomes an issue of, what do we do? And if Bryan's making all these accusations about his attorney, let's say they're true. Well, then she should be disciplined for that because that's unprofessional conduct. But the neat thing is, she gets the right to defend herself. And certainly, that's way down the road. The first step is, will we even get a hearing? Probably not. Bryan Kohberger is probably not going to get a hearing. Presuming he does, his attorney is going to show up, and she'll be forced to testify. But at that point, she's probably going to try to avoid breaching privilege, because even if it's been waived because Bryan's brought up the issues, and remember, one of the times you can breach attorney-client privilege is to protect yourself and defend yourself in a hearing. She's probably going to do everything she can to avoid it, but she may have to, depending on how her hand gets forced. And think about this. Let's say she says, oh, Bryan admitted to fucking doing it, and he admitted he loved every second of it. Whew. That would be really embarrassing. So I don't think it's going to get that far. What's going to happen? Do I think what's really going to happen is the attorney that's been appointed is going to go around and talk to everybody, and then he's going to go back and say, Bryan, do you really want all these people to come in? Because they're going to talk about how you admitted to fucking doing it. They're going to talk about how they had to beg you to take this, and then you finally did it, or you were begging for a plea, and that you were crying and pissing your pants over it. I think that they're going to end up, Bryan's going to have to say, like, if you do this, you have to admit to all kinds of things. And do you really want to concede all that embarrassing stuff? Do you really want to hurt your Izzat that bad? I don't know. Do you really want to embarrass yourself that bad? You could. But I have a feeling they're going to encourage him to want to not to do that. But we'll see. Everything is crazy out there. You just don't understand. You just don't understand. Well, like I said, the day is young, and we'll see what happens to Bryan. And honestly, when I worked as a prosecutor, you would get guys who file this shit all the time. They file motions for new trials. They claim they got fucked, and all this stuff would happen. Like, I remember one time I was doing it, and my boss gave it to me. He's like, here, have you ever done one of these before? I'm like, nope. He's like, have fun with this. And this was the guy's like sixth time for post-conviction relief. He was coming up with, with his, being a shithouse lawyer. Like, these guys sit around and do this stuff. They got nothing better to do. Bryan Kohberger, this is not going to be the last we've ever heard of him, because it's not going to get granted. He's not going to ever give up. He's going to be filing these until he dies. That's probably how he is. He's not going to go quietly into that night. So, let's see here. My Izzat is priceless. Yes, he used my truth in his statement, the LWAT minimum, just for that. Well, yeah, and I don't know. I didn't see his. And yeah, if we go here, we can actually go to what he says. And here he says, it is hereby declared that during attorney to client discussions, notice he's breaching it, but he's waiving privilege by talking about it. Most of which included all members of Bryan Kohberger's immediate family. Petitioner was convinced to falsely confess to capital murder and felony burglary. So he's going to have his parents or whoever was there is going to say, yeah, they told him to do it. I have the feeling they're going to be like, no, we don't remember it happening like that. No, claiming coercion, disinformation, false promises, and the withholding of exculpatory discovery. The following was material to the inception of the plea. Counsel's failure to inform petitioner of exculpatory discovery received during plea discussions, namely clumps of unknown hair found underneath the Chapin's hands, as well as a failure of further inquiry. Really? I don't know about that. 2, Bryan was convinced that actual guilt was not an important factor considering plea acceptance. I mean, I haven't had that discussion, but I have heard that discussion has happened before, that it doesn't matter, nobody believes you. But also, there's also times where the Alford plea exists. I'm innocent, but I'm pleading guilty to avoid far worse consequences. So, death row was imminent, and I was advised to lie. Petitioner was to gain a legal victory in entering a false plea. Well, not getting executed is a legal victory in this situation, Bryan. It is. It is a good thing. A gross misrepresentation of and promises regarding what a life sentence would immediately afford Bryan, and a gross misrepresentation of death row in Idaho, including an elaborate fabricated story of counsel's horrific experience, touring an actual 8x8 death row cell. I mean, this is where he's like claiming they lied and said it was bad. And he's like, it's actually not too bad here. Are you kidding me? It's death row. I can't imagine that the cells, I can't imagine that they oversold how bad it was going to suck in prison. Quite frankly, unless you've been to prison, I don't think you can properly sell it to the necessary level of how much suck it is. I don't think you could. I don't think they could. So the idea they oversold you on this, I find that hard to believe. You know, this is all communicated to Bryan and his family, allegedly by IDOC through counsel, thus constituting threats and promises made to induce a plea agreement. I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, this is just schizo posting. This is just schizo posting. I don't know how you think this is going to change for you, man. I don't know how you think this is going to go better. He's trying to say he didn't do it, Sean. He wasn't found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, when you enter a plea of guilty, you're stipulating that they can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt because you're a complete admission of guilt. So, yeah, it's like, don't you get all the ice cream you want? Any flavor? That's what I heard. Yeah, this is the way this is being done is just ridiculous by him, but he's going to keep going. He's going to keep arguing. I'm sure he's going to say that. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't think an Alford plea is available to him. Well, there's no way in hell you're Alford pleading that. There's no way in hell you can get an Alford plea in that situation. I'm just saying in general the idea. I just don't see how this is going to work for him. I don't see how this is going to work for him. So anybody wondering, Bryan Kohberger, it's not like anything's going to happen on there, guys. So don't panic. Don't panic if you were thinking like, oh my God, he's going to get out. Nope, he's not getting out. He's not getting out. Like that's not happening. That's not happening. So, yeah. And it says, when the judge asked him he didn't, he said yes. And that's the thing. The judge said, did you murder these people? Yes. And are you saying yes because you're guilty? Yes. That's why the judge does all these things. So you can't come back later. It's insulating the plea hearing. You're insulating it, and you're insulating the record against this kind of crap. So I don't see how this works for him, but maybe, well, like I said, what do I know? I'm just a fat guy who eats sandwiches. There's no other way to describe it. Eric is saying, oh, you get Norman Ratchet to the final meal. Depends where you're at. In some states, your final meal is what's on the tray that day. A lot of states have changed from giving you like whatever you want, you can order. Some states give you a limited amount, like you get $100. Some states let you get only commissary. And then other states, here's the tray of the day. That's your last meal. Have fun. Bye. So it's very different depending on where you're at. Yes. I'm just a penny lawyer. Yep. According to Destiny, just a penny lawyer. Simple penny lawyer. Yes, he needs a Frank's hearing so he could totally win this. Yeah, that's all it's missing. That's all it's missing there. Yeah. Yes. Very true. Caleb says, let's say he took the deal. Turns out he didn't do it. Could they charge him with perjury? No, because he would claim duress. And duress is an affirmative defense you could use. Remember, you can use duress for everything but murder. You can't use duress as an excuse to commit murder, but pretty much every other crime. And even then, you could just say, I didn't understand what I was doing. Sorry, Your Honor, I'm an idiot. And that would be a thing. So, in Pennsylvania, before I retired, Marlene says they could order what they wanted from the regular menu. That's another option too, is like whatever we make normally you can get. But yeah, some places it's really brutal. So, my resident says duress is a good at top deck. One drop. I usually sideboard if I'm in black. Yes. You need the reverse ultra double rare hollow. The whatever the EIR or whatever they call it, Pokemon cards. That's what you need. Say, Aptus says, what losers are putting 10K in his commissary? I think there's a total last year. Man, women love men in prison. Like TLC did a whole show about like prison brides. Now it's weird because a lot of those women are all from like Europe on that show, but women love this stuff because it's a man under control and they know where he's at. And they think there's some allure. Like Brian be like, "I'll eat your face." Oh my God, he loves me so much he'd eat my face. Women are crazy. That's all I can tell you, man. Women are crazy. All right. Okay, let's see here. Women love crime, yes. I thought that show was about something else. Well, there are prison brides. That's a thing too. So, even Ted Kaczynski had a wife, yes. Yes. Voting should be restricted. Well, there's that too. I mean, that's always determined. What I've determined after watching the Bryan Kohberger doc is that the women in his case really love to hear their own voices. I mean, really, everybody loves to hear their own voice for the most part. So that's a common thing. Yeah, you never have to pick up socks. He's clean. He's pressed and glad to see you when you visit. Yes. Yep. Yeah, and I believe this. It's women paying for compliments. Yes. So, yes, Ted Bundy had a wife and got her pregnant while he was incarcerated. Yeah, that was a scandal. And then we talked about this out in California. You could get conjugal visits, and the woman married a guy in prison who was there for beating and trying to kill his wife. And then when they had their conjugal visit, he beat and killed the new wife. Like, Yeah, but these women, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's what these women do. It's what these women do. Oh. Oh. Man, my throat was getting parched. So. Oh, did I see Rachel Wilson destroy Not So Erudite at a debate con last week? No, I didn't. I did not. So I heard she kicked her ass though, but hey, I mean, she's not so erudite. She's not that bright. She lives up to her name from what I understand. All right, guys. Now moving on from there, we've got what else we got here? We got to get to. We got the Ohio thing. This is interesting. If you guys hadn't seen it yet, if you were driving for Grubhub at some point, there's been a big lawsuit that's been brewing, and I just brought it up because you never know who's doing it, and this is more just so you know it. If you were in the class, there's like a $25 million settlement for Grubhub drivers out there. Just keep that in mind. I don't know what you guys do for fun, but something you think about. Something for you to think about. And then we have Tony Romo. For those of you who are Dallas Cowboys fans, probably like Joe Neerman, Tony Romo probably have a love-hate relationship with the former husband of Jessica Simpson. Like they broke up, right? I think they did. I don't know. Did they? Anyways, Jessica Simpson's probably ex-husband, from what I assume. Anyways, he got cited for DUI. It's an interesting thing, and we're gonna go through a little bit of his body cam here that got released. And so there he is. Now, honestly, here's something. If you're Tony Romo, and we're gonna get to all of this here, but remember, when you're getting pulled over by the cops and they suspect you DUI, they're looking for every way they can to arrest you. So here we go. Here we go.
All right. How many drinks have you had? You're coming from a golf course?
I played in a golf tournament in Wisconsin State Amateur.
Okay.
So it's like a USGA event.
Okay. All right. I'm going to run you through some fields.
Second.
Field sobriety tests. Are you willing to take any field sobriety tests?
Call my lawyer.
Okay, the answer is no. Do not take field sobriety tests. They are tests you can't actually pass. Because if the cops convinced you're drunk or impaired, even if you pass them, legally, they don't have to let you go. You could be a functional alcoholic. You could be on a different kind of intoxicant. Just because you pass them doesn't mean you win. I love trying to use that in court because it makes you can make a cop sound like the biggest fucking scumbag in the world. Even if the jury hates drunk drivers, knowing that, having the cops admit, like, yeah, it doesn't matter what you do, we're still going to arrest you, doesn't sit well with the jury. I'm sorry?
Yes, you're denying to step out of the vehicle pending fields?
I'm just going to call my lawyer.
Okay, step out of the vehicle.
I'm going to call my lawyer.
Nope, step out of the vehicle.
I'm not allowed to.
Step out of the vehicle.
Okay, yeah, this is true, though, guys. When the cops tell you step out of the vehicle, step out of the vehicle. When they tell you put your hands behind your back, put your hands behind your back. You're not going to win that argument.
So you're going to take me
Field sobriety test.
I'm still allowed to call my lawyer, right?
You're not.
I'm not allowed
Nope,
to.
step out of the vehicle. 24 discussion.
24.
I'll take an additional 1017.
I'm
He's
okay
not
doing
stepping
it,
out of the
but
vehicle for field.
I'll do it. I'm just saying that I'm not allowed to call my lawyer.
And I would argue, like, to be fair, guys, this kind of like this demeanor and whatnot, this is a lot of times when people have been drinking, this is kind of how they act. They're kind of like only can focus on one thing at a time. So, like, would it surprise me that he's had a couple of road pops? No. Do I think she probably had probable cause? I don't know at this point. But you're kind of cruising for a bruising now where you might end up with the resisting or obstructing charge, even if you're not intoxicated. So they tell you get out of the car, get the fuck out of the car. You're not going to win this argument.
I'm not allowed to. I'm not.
You are pending an OWI investigation. Operating while intoxicated. I want you to step out of the vehicle.
Now, in Tony Romo's defense, he basically he's got so many concussions, he could argue functionally retarded. And he could say, Your Honor, I got CTE. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time. So he could argue, like, I don't understand. I had to take time to process because I'm just, my brain is fried right now from all the concussions because my lineman sucked when I was playing quarterback. I mean, there were a couple times Tony Romo got his bell wrong. So that could be an issue for him. But we're not there yet.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, so you're going to step in front of my vehicle? Step in front of my vehicle? Step in front of my vehicle, yes.
Remember, chat, one of the things the cops cite when they're talking about whether or not you're impaired is how well do you follow simple directions? This is the stuff. You might say, I want to put it there. No, just do it. You got to follow the directions. Remember, anything you don't do exactly, you're intoxicated. It's like Full Metal Jacket. If you run, you're Viet Cong. If you stand still, you're well-disciplined Viet Cong. So doing this does not help you. It just reinforces the idea that you're intoxicated.
They'll be hired at C20 shortly.
24 squad, slow it down. He's out of the vehicle. I'll be conveying him to the Sally Port for field.
I'm fine. It's fine.
Turn around for me.
Additional spots. There's a good chance that.
Patting you down for weapons, okay? No weapons on you? Okay, all right. You're detained pending an OWI investigation. Deputy Core, sir.
Are you going to take me through I thought you were taking me through it.
So, as of right now, we're on a leveled ground. We're on a bridge. I want to convey you somewhere that's going to be an even surface, free of debris.
Yes, I agree. So we don't get hit.
Turn around for me.
I get you.
Yep.
I just want to make sure it doesn't too far.
So he's detained, but effectively he's under arrest, chat. He's in custody. He's clearly not free to go. And they want to investigate, and they suspect him of committing a crime. So yes, would a reasonable person feel they can't leave right now? Yes. So if you have custody and they ask you questions about anything, we have Miranda warnings that need to be given. So Miranda now applies. Miranda is now in play.
24, that's a negative.
You put me off in the jail. I have them.
I'll grab your phone for you, okay?
I'm already at the jail. Do you need any help?
All right. So,
What about the keys and everything?
okay, hang on.
Oh, I bet.
I will grab the keys. Your phone, I will grab as well, okay? You're detained pending an OWI investigation. I patted you down for any weapons. I would normally seat you on the passenger side. Due to it being so close to the concrete barrier, we're going to go into traffic very carefully in the distress.
Seriously?
Yep. Because you're not able to fit, sir. There's no... So we're going to walk in the distress. We're going to go in the distress.
Can we grab the phone first?
I will, sir. I only have
Yeah,
2 hands.
I mean, to be fair, I think this is part of the problem with the cop. Like, why'd you pull him over on the bridge? Because now you got to walk into fucking, like, that. Yeah, sir, I'm making you walk into traffic and do something really fucking dangerous. Why did you pull him over right here, officer, Sweet Pants? What was the game plan?
Howard does too more of a car to sit on that.
I mean, kind of stupid, kind of reckless.
Have a seat. You in all the way?
What's that?
You in all the way?
I'm in, yes. Uncomfortably, but yes.
I know you're a taller fellow.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah.
So, okay, so anyways, they get him to the police station. They get him out. So he gets out here at the police station.
Let me know if you need a hand.
Is it possible to take it off just so I can?
Yep. You can take your hand out. You're welcome.
Okay, chat, even at this point, if you were ever in this situation, you should always ask, am I free to go? I think we would all agree you're not free to go. They told you you're not free to go. You're inside the Sally Port at a police station. You're surrounded by a bunch of cops. But are you free to go? You should always ask. It never hurts to ask. It never hurts to have that on body camera. Am I free to go? No. So I'm being detained. I'm in custody. If you ask me questions, Miranda now applies.
Thank you.
No worries. All right, sir. So, based on your driving,
Yeah.
where you were coming from, you said the golf course, correct?
Yeah, I thought
Okay.
I was at the golf course. I played in the WSJ event.
The red glassy eyes, and then the odor of an intoxicating alcoholic.
Okay, before she said that, just being on a golf course, like, okay. Red glassy eyes. He's been outside all day. The 23rd of July was last Thursday. It was probably hot as shit up in Wisconsin. Yeah, like, I don't know. Does he have allergies? Did you ask if he had many medical issues? Did he have contacts in? None of that's been assessed. Sir, do you have any physical injuries that'll limit your ability to do things? Tony Romo's had the shit beat out of his body. And he smells like alcohol. Does he really smell like beer? I don't know. When the cops say that, I kind of throw the same category as I smell weed.
Beverage from your boss.
From all the guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when my partner brought the backpack that you wanted, we basically do not an inventory, but I make sure that
You
there's
guys
no
check the
guns
whole
in there.
thing? Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys check.
And there were
That is an illegal search, I would argue. Notice she said that's not an inventory search. I'm just listening to this live with you guys. She just said that's not an inventory search. So why were you searching it? You're making sure there's no guns in it. Tony Romo's in handcuffs in the back of a police car, and another cop grabbed it, presumably put it in his car. If there was a fucking RPG inside of it, it doesn't matter because Tony Romo can't get to it. Why are you searching it? Did you have probable cause to search that bag? I don't think you did. I would argue you don't. What cause did you have to search that bag?
And when my partner brought the backpack that you wanted, we basically do not an inventory, but I make sure that
You
there's
guys
no
check the
guns
whole
in there.
thing? Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys check.
And there were
Yeah.
a few shooters in there that I observed.
Yeah. Any of them drink?
Okay.
I don't
So,
think any of them were drink, right?
okay.
So I observed closed bottles of alcohol. Not only was your search, I'd argue, illegal, but bottles of alcohol, like everybody leaving the grocery store with alcohol, they haven't opened bottles of alcohol. Even if they were empty. When were they drank? When were they consumed? Like, this sounds awful right now. There's suppression issues here already. There's suppression issues already here. And there's 100% suppression issues here. There was no reason to search that bag. There's no reason.
So based off of that, I'm going to run you through some fields.
Also, notice when they talked about doing all that and all the alcohol and all that, Tony Romo's statements, I'd argue, are unmirandized. So everything he said so far is an unmirandized statement, which is, suppression. So everything he says, suppressed. The search, suppressed. Now, is that probably going to happen? I don't think so, because remember, DUIs are really bad at scale. We can't let people get away with them. It's so bad. Even in Wisconsin, I don't see a court granting it, even though they should do the right thing.
Yeah.
SFSTs?
That's good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So, flat surface, free to breathe.
It wasn't an inventory search. You heard her say it. It wasn't an inventory search because the car wasn't impounded yet. Because he officially hasn't been arrested. So that search was not valid. Now, you might argue inevitable discovery, but I don't think that would count. She said it wasn't an inventory search. She said it was for officer safety, searching for weapons. That's not an inventory search. I'm just going off of what she says, man.
All my lights and everything are off. You're just going to stand in the front here for me.
Yes, just one second.
No worries.
I know, but hey, you know what? Like, this is what you do when the cops say something. If they say something inarticulately, fucking run with it. Run up. You exploit that because, well, I didn't mean to say that. Well, what did you mean to say? Are you sure you didn't mean that? Are you only changing it now because I'm standing here with my boot on your neck? I mean, that if they screw up, maximize it to your advantage. But also, Tony Romo's beat up, banged up. They know who he is. Famous NFL star. I guarantee you he probably has like the body of an 80-year-old man now. And he just got done playing a round of golf. So, you guys play golf. Imagine big fat guy like me trying to play when I play golf. Exhausting. Normally people playing golf, it's exhausting, especially you're playing all day long and it's hot outside. And you're just pounding down fucking Budweisers. It takes its toll on you.
Can I do an exercise?
Go ahead, dude.
Sound Dewey, 02, Charles John Boy, Charles Boy.
Pat it down, yep.
Okay, she did. She's got perfect. I probably didn't say those.
Now, to be fair, like this makes you look drunk. This makes you look like a goober.
2-5 violator.
All right. Just stand in the middle for me, sir. Yep.
2-5.
And you're just going to turn around.
Okay, notice she's stand in the middle. That's not and now she could say, oh, he wasn't following instructions. That one is not a clear instruction. And remember, we went through the NHTSA stuff. We went through the DUI checklist things. It's all meant to confuse you. It's all meant to make you look like an idiot. There's a reason for it.
You're going to have stand facing me.
From LSD.
Feet together.
That's not a full, when you say turn around, that doesn't mean like just turn a little bit. Generally, turn around means around. So,
Yep. Just split, half step, forward on, push on.
Feet together.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Do you want to
Feet together, arms down at your side.
Okay.
Okay.
notice, like, did you want me on the line or not? And they'd be like, oh, so you're not following directions. But they're not necessarily clear.
Any head injuries?
Excuse me?
Any head injuries recently? Any concussions?
He's like, bitch, you know how many times in the NFL I got my bell rung? He's like, I don't know what the color purple tastes like anymore. He definitely is like, his brain is not like, he took a lot of knocks. He's not Troy Aikman bad or Steve Young bad, but there's like, you know he's got mental, you know his brain's not 100%.
Well, over the years, yes, but not recently. No, we're good.
Okay. So please stand with your feet together and your hands down at the side. Do not do it.
So you know he's got medical issues. You know he's got medical issues, and you know what he is. You know there's significant medical issues.
Good.
Please stand with your feet together and your hands down at your side. Do not do anything until I tell you. Do you understand?
Do you want shoes on or no?
What do you prefer?
Notice it's all just, once again, it's all about tripping you up. That's why you guys don't do these. The breathalyzer, that's a separate matter you should talk to an attorney about where you live. But if you're getting field sobriety tested, they're already going to arrest you. You're not going to convince them that you're not drunk.
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Like, I'm fine.
I'm going to check your eyes. Please keep your head still during the test.
Okay.
Look at the stimulus and follow the movement of the stimulus with your eyes only.
All right.
Keep looking at the stimulus until the test is over.
Stimulus.
Do you understand? The stimulus, top of my pen, right over here, okay?
Yep.
Do you understand?
I got you.
Okay. Can you maintain the position?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's go.
I'm going to make a couple of passes, okay? Top of my pen here.
So what am I doing? Just tell me,
Which-
am I looking at it or?
You're going to look at the top of my pen.
Okay.
Stimulus, okay?
So my eyes are going with it. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Make a couple passes here, okay?
Okay, so I'm following this as you move it.
And guys, remember, this is all meant to trick you up. And then for the HGN, this is where they say they claim your eyes can't, nystagmus takes present at 45 degrees and your eye starts having tracking issues. So instead of your eye moving smoothly, it goes like this, dit, dit, dit. And if you get to the edge, nystagmus, there's a little bit of jiggle. Your eye starts jiggling a little bit, trying to maintain. You don't see that. But to a person standing off to the side, they can see your eyes having trouble. But they do all kinds of shit, and they're woo. Remember, it's all about getting a conviction, not necessarily about doing something right.
Seriously.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
Oof, Tony, you cannot follow. Your head can't follow like that. Oh, what? Oh. Now, he might be able to argue things like, I've got neck and motor issues and something, but holy shit. God, that's bad. That's not good. This is how he normally is. I mean, yes, he could argue that, yes. But see, this is all just fodder for the prosecutor's office.
Am I supposed to move my head or am I supposed to keep it square?
Would you like the instructions one more time, sir?
I think I got you. I'm trying to do it right. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh.
You got to keep your head still, please.
Oh.
Well, that's what I was asking. Okay.
Okay. So,
Now, he might say he didn't understand the instructions. Okay, that might help. But remember, all these statements aren't Mirandized. He was arrested, and I never heard his Miranda being given to him.
eyes and eyes
just
only.
the eyes
Yep.
move only. That's what I was asking. I got you.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, buddy. Now, yes, Tony Romo might have enough neck problems and body problems. This might be impossible for him anyway. I don't know. Maybe he will use the fact of like, hey, Jessica Simpson and I were a thing for a while. I really am retarded.
Yeah. I had to move the head just a little to get there. Sorry.
Oh.
Waiting for me. Sorry.
Also, I can't tell how far away she is from him, but you are supposed to be within certain distances. And it's hard for me to tell, but I assume since she's fucked up so much stuff already, she's probably not doing this correctly, but it's hard to tell from this angle the way her body cam's being like placed all the way down. I don't understand this. Like it's so not in the middle of her chest. I'm really confused. Like it's almost on her belt. Like this is all just awful. I'd argue her speed's inconsistent. And also, she's just holding it. I think I forget how long it is you have to hold it, but she's holding it for an awful long time out at the you know, out there. Also, this like what the fuck? You're not trained to do it like that. This is like, yeah. Like, no, that's not how you do it either. You're looking for smooth yeah. Okay, that right there. You can't go. It's not like you're doing it's not like when you're playing Halo and it's having you train to like move your like joystick to figure out how to target. You're supposed to go in smooth motion. You're not go like like you can't do that. That is not the way you're trained to do it. That's not the way you're trained to do it. That is not the right way.
Just gonna keep your head straight for me. We're gonna redo that, okay?
All right. Good.
Still the top of my pen.
Yep. I'm still staring at it.
Don't move your head. Eyes and eyes only, please, okay?
Okay.
Okay. The next step is the walk-in.
Okay.
The next step is going to be the walk and turn instructions.
Okay.
To be fair, they're inside a Sally port. There's shit going on everywhere. Like, it's loud and banging noise. Like, why are they doing it in here? Why aren't they doing it in a parking lot somewhere quiet?
Okay.
Yep.
Place your left foot on the line.
Which line? I see a bunch of lines in this room. Which line?
Or imaginary, so you're going to picture a straight line in front of you.
You can.
Oh, sorry.
I'll start over.
So we're oh, hold on. Officer, you know, hot pants.
The next step is the walk-in.
Okay.
The next step is going to be the walk and turn instructions, okay?
Yep.
Place your left foot on the line, real or imaginary, so you're going to picture a straight line in front of
So, and I hate that. Use an imaginary line. Why don't we have a real fucking line? There are real lines all over the place. Why do you have to make them use an imaginary line?
you.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh,
Yeah, sir, I was talking about that imaginary line, a different imaginary line. Why don't you use them? There are literal lines right here. Line right here, line right here. There's a line right there. There's a line right there. Line right there, line right there, line right there, line right there. Why don't we use those lines? Because you don't want to make it easy for people. You want them to fuck up and trip up. You don't want to give them a visual aid. Because you're about the arrest.
I'll start over. Walk and turn instructions. You're going to picture a straight line in front of you.
okay.
Place your left foot on the
And yeah, she said real or manager, and you went to the real line. You know, these are poor directions.
line, real or imaginary. So take your
Real or imaginary? Okay, so why can't I use the real line?
left foot, put it on that line. Place your right foot on the line ahead of your left foot.
Okay.
With the heel of your right foot against the toe of the left foot. Exactly. Yep, exactly how I'm doing.
Okay.
Place your arms down at the side.
What am I doing after that?
Maintain this position until I complete the instructions.
Okay. What are the instructions after that?
So maintain that position for me. Would you like me to start over?
Well, I just want to see, what am I doing?
Okay, I'll start.
I was just asking.
So picture a straight line in front.
Notice she's not doing a good job at doing the, like, we've watched these before, guys. She's not doing a very good job at this.
Yep,
Okay,
I got it.
take your left foot, put it
Yep,
on
I
that
put it
line.
there. What do I do after that?
Take your right foot,
Okay.
put it in front,
Okay.
heel to toe touching. Place your arms down at the side. Maintain this position until I've completed the instructions.
Are
You
there
can-
any instructions after that or no?
Do not start to walk until you're told to do so.
Okay,
Do you understand the instructions so far?
so put my left foot down, right foot in front on the line, and then I'm gonna wait for you. Correct?
And notice they're like, oh, you're failing. It's like he's trying to figure out what you want.
I think I'll use not the accidental fall off of that. Okay, ready?
When I tell you to start, take 9 heel to toe steps on the line, turn and take 9 heel to toe steps down the line.
Okay.
I'm going to demonstrate by doing 3 steps.
Okay.
Okay? When you turn, keep your front foot.
And remember, chat, if you're more than a couple inches from heel to toe, that's automatically a failure. They don't tell you that.
On the line and turn by taking a series of small steps with the other foot.
Okay.
I will demonstrate it for you, okay?
Yep.
While you're on, keep your arms at your sides, watch your feet at all times, and count your steps out loud. Once you start walking, do not stop until you have completed the test. Do you understand the instructions?
No, I don't. There's too many. We gotta go step by step.
Okay. All right.
That's actually a good reply. You're intentionally fucking with me. You know, Tony Romo, you get a your response.
Was this story based? Yes.
That's a very base response to give to the cops. Your instructions are unclear, you fuckers. Like, I actually you get points for that, buddy. You get points. So
Take your left foot,
Okay.
put it on the line, the straight line, real or
So
imaginary.
if you could show me how to do it real quick.
Take your right foot,
So left foot, put the right foot in front.
left foot on the line, right foot in front, heel to toe
Okay.
touching.
So right here,
Yep. Heel to toe touching.
here.
Yep, just like this. Left foot on the line, right foot directly in front of it, arms down at your side while she explains.
I'd point out her camera's wibble wobbling a lot. Has she had something to drink? I mean, I do that just to be an asshole to her.
The rest of the instructions.
Got it. So
Okay.
stay here.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Now what am I doing?
Place your arms down at the sides. Okay? Keep your arms down at the side. Maintain this position until I have completed the instructions. Do not start to walk until you're told to do so.
Okay,
Do you understand the instructions so far?
I got it.
When I tell you to start, take 9 heel to toe steps on the line, turn and take 9 heel to toe
What does
steps.
that mean by turn?
I will demonstrate for you, okay?
Got it.
When you turn, keep the front lead foot on the line
Sorry, one second.
and turn by taking a series of small steps with the other foot.
Yep.
I'm going to demonstrate with 3.
Yes, thank you.
You will do 9, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Just sitting in there. Sorry, guys, 2 back
1.
surgeries. That's right.
2.
And see, he's got medical problems, a bunch of back surgeries. He just played around the golf. He's an old man. I mean, shit, how old is Tony Romo? He's been outside in the hot sun drinking beer all day. Give him a break. He's only 46, but he probably feels like a 66-year-old. But give him a break. He's been outside drinking beer all day. Come on now. I thought this was America. She's probably an Eagles fan or a Packers fan. Oh.
3.
Okay, so put him foot in front. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, hold on. We need to
2.
watch her.
3.
Okay, so put him foot in front.
She's kind of wibble wobbling, chat. She kind of wibble wobbled. Is she been drinking?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, my bad. You go ahead. Keep
Okay.
going.
You're going to use a series of small steps.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Look at that as a. Did you see how she did that? where she's making you do like a little retarded, like fucking about face thing. No, what you should have those people do is, and I've seen like, at least here in Ohio, you know, the way they tell you to do it is, okay, then bring your foot around and you like boop, 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 boop around. And you kind of just walk, you kind of just plant your one foot in place and just turn. That's actually like fair enough. That, how the hell do you do that?
1, 2, 3.
That, like a backwards turn? Come on.
Yep. So 3 one way and then 3.
1, 2, 3. Let me know if you need another demonstration.
Nope. All right. So 3 steps and then turn around.
Would you like me to?
One more time.
Sure.
Just in case.
Place your left foot on the line, real or imaginary. Place your right
Scarlett's
foot
sister
on the line ahead of the left foot with the heel of your right foot against the toe of the left foot. I'm demonstrating for you. This is my left foot. I'm taking my right foot, putting it in front of my left, heel to toe touching, okay?
I'm saying you want me to turn around and go back toward the car.
So you're going to take 9 heel to toe steps on that line?
Like 9 that way or just 3 and then 2?
You're going to take 9 heel to toe steps back along that same line, keeping your front foot, lead foot, forward.
He's like, look at Tara at his feet. He's like, oh fuck, I can't do this. Remember though, this is all I'd argue. I haven't seen Miranda yet. So I'm arguing this is all suppressed. Anyway.
I can start over with the instructions if you would like, sir.
Just take steps, right? 9 steps. 9 steps that way.
9 steps.
See, chat, if you take too much of a gap, you fail. Fail, 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 fail. Notice she didn't tell him how far to go, but that counts as a fail. We've gone through the rubrics before. Too big of a space between your things. And now he's got to do like this retarded flip turn. Okay, that's not how she did it, but that's a safer way to turn.
9 heel to toe steps.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. Those were all way too long. Yeah, notice she wasn't clear on that. She said 3, like, very confusing. Once again, it's meant to be confusing, guys.
Sorry, sir?
Did you say 3 times? I'm sorry.
No, the next text is going to be the one leg stand.
Okay.
Okay? Please stand with your feet. Please stand with your feet.
That's a you problem, Patty. Although they'd say do it exactly like she did it.
Feet together and your arms down at the side. I'm demonstrating it for you. Do not start the test until I tell you to do so. Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay. Would you like me to read the first part over again, sir?
Thank you.
Please stand with your feet together, arms down at the side. Do not start the test until I tell you to do so. Do you understand?
I do.
When I tell you to start, raise either leg with the foot approximately.
That's not true, though, because in the NHTSA manual, heel to toe can be up to a couple of inches. So heel to toe does not mean nut to butt. There is a bit of leeway.
6 inches off the ground, keeping your foot parallel to the ground.
Like
Keep both legs straight and your arms down at the side.
Here.
So foot parallel to the ground, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Keep both legs straight and your arms down at the side. Holding that position.
I mean, he's asking you, my foot parallel to the ground. Like this? I mean, technically he wasn't wrong.
Count out loud in the following manner.
Okay.
1001,
Okay.
1002, 1003, and so on until you are told to stop. Keep your arms at your sides at all time and keep watching the raised foot. I'm going to demonstrate for you, okay? And then you just tell me which foot you want to raise, okay? I think I'm going to raise my right. Okay. Approximately 6 inches, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, and so on until I tell you to stop.
See, and the shitty part is they don't do it for the full amount of time. And when these cops do that, I'm only going to do 3 steps. You know why they only do 3 steps? Because if they have to walk 9, they might fuck up. There's a reason why they don't do all of this. There's a reason why they don't perform the HGN on each other or demonstrate it for you. There's a reason why it's limited amounts. They only go up to 4. Because anybody can wibble wobble. They can put their foot down. Any number of things. They intentionally deceive you. And and that's where I kind of wonder. It's like, I want you to do it the full amount of time. I need you to explain to me the full thing. And I'd say, why can't you perform the full test? And I've asked that to officers before. Well, why don't you do the full test? If it's easy, you should be able to perform the full test. But you don't.
Okay. Gotta tell you to begin.
Okay, that's...
Can't do that, yeah. Can't use that, actually. Yeah, I got you.
Right. Do you understand?
Yes, I got
Yes, let's go.
Okay. Which foot are you choosing to raise, sir?
I'm trying to think about which one's stronger with all the actual relief I've done with all the back exercises, but I feel like I should probably go with the left, I would say. Maybe the right? No, we'll go with the left.
Okay.
I'm going to raise the right. So I'm going to use the left on the ground.
Okay. May I begin?
I feel like I might incorporate this.
I mean, he's suffered a lot of brain injuries. He might have equilibrium problems. But also notice we didn't see on this, you know how they showed her trying to do the turn thing from the other cameras? We didn't see the leg lift. I wonder how she demonstrated it.
In the PT. She's kind of activating.
Okay, to be fair, this is for a guy who's drunk, this is actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually kind of impressed. I figured he'd fail this completely.
Pretty good. Oh, I know that was at least 8 or 9 seconds. By the way, I do this consistently every day, but the right
Going to be stopping the test.
than the left, I feel like. Oh, sorry. You want me to go to the right?
All right.
Sorry. I can go to the right if you want. Sorry.
Yeah, that's...
You
not to...
willing to submit to a PBT?
What is that?
Machine that you blow in?
Notice you won't tell him what it is, a machine you blow in. Portable breathalyzer test. She won't just say it. Why won't you tell him exactly what it is? Why are you trying to fucking hide things? I had a cop do this once to a client. Well, you blow in a PBT. What is it? It's a PBT. Why don't you just tell them what it is? He's like, because it's a PBT. Is my client a cop? Does he know what a PBT is? And the cop's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, then why don't you just tell him what it is? Why are you so afraid to tell them what these things are? Simple. Just tell them what the fuck's going on.
It's a preliminary.
It does not determine the results of my
no,
test.
we're not doing that.
Okay.
I've already heard from all the lawyers. Don't ever do that.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I mean, he's not lying. Don't fucking use those machines. Don't use a portable. Now, when it comes to like the actual breathalyzer and whether or not you could get suspended or in trouble, because in some states, I think like in Minnesota and a couple other states, not blowing is an actual crime in and of itself, which I think is a violation of the Fifth Amendment. But if you like, don't ever like, so talk to a lawyer where you live, but I'm not going to blow. I'm not going to blow. Especially if you think you've been drinking, like you don't want to risk that. Like, are you sure? And even if you're under 0.08, you could still be intoxicated and impaired. You know, remember, they're going to find every reason to bust your nuts open.
We're not going to do that.
Okay. All right, sir.
Did I pass this test?
Can you turn around?
No.
No, I didn't, huh? Can I use my phone real quick? Because there's a plane taking off.
You're
My
under
parents are
arrest for
Okay.
operating
We'll
while
get to
under
that.
influence, okay?
You can turn off.
I'll read you a sheet and everything.
Okay.
We just. Permission's on, but then I need you to turn off.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Literally, when there was some.
Do you need 2 cuffs, sir? Or are you okay with one?
Please, one.
Okay.
2 with the back.
Yeah, so it gives you a little more armor.
Well, the back. I'm saying that was uncomfortable in there.
Okay. Would you like
Would you want
to?
the second set?
I don't know what that means.
A little bit easier on your shoulder.
Yeah.
We'll give you 2.
I don't know what that means.
Well,
We're just
you
gonna
tell
put
us
2
how
sets
you.
of cuffs on you. We're just going to go a little bit easier on your shoulder. We saw you.
Wider.
Yeah, a little wider. A little easier on your shoulder. Okay.
Mr. Romo, do you mind if I
Why couldn't you have fucking done that earlier?
read you something?
Miranda
If I open the door, you're not going to try to get out, are you?
If you let me get out, I'd love to stretch, but
Well, can't
whatever
technically
you want
let
me
you.
to do,
Okay.
I'll do.
All right.
Whatever you want. You've already won today, so whatever you want.
Notice the Miranda rights thing. He's like, you don't know how right you are, Tony. For once, people bitching about Miranda rights, I think you're correct. Because notice she didn't say, I already read those to you. I think you've got a problem here, Officer Toots. You got a problem.
All right, sir. So I have to read you the informing the
Is
accused.
it possible for me to stand up while you do this, just to get out of here for a second?
Okay.
I'm sorry. I really have had 2 back surgeries. I'm not.
Okay. All right. So how about this? I'll meet you halfway. I'll open the door. You can swing your legs out. That way you're a little more comfortable, okay?
That's great. Thank you so much.
You are a taller individual, so I'm willing to work with you. Just stay seated
Yes,
just like
I
that,
will.
please, okay?
Thank you.
Don't get up. Perfect. I don't want the door to hit you. All right. This is the informing the accused. Under Wisconsin's implied consent.
No, this is not Mirandizing. These are all states. You have to do informed consent. You have to warn them that if they fail to provide a blood breath or a urine sample upon request from an officer who has probable cause to believe you're intoxicated, your license will be suspended. That's what she's going over right now. In Ohio, it's called a 2255. So that's what, like in other states, they call it different things, but it's a standard form.
Law, I'm required to read this notice to you. You've either been arrested for an offense that involves driving or operating a motor vehicle after using alcohol or drugs or both, or you are suspected of driving or being on duty time with respect to a commercial motor vehicle after using alcohol or drugs or both. This law enforcement agency now wants to test 1 or more samples of your breath, blood, or urine to determine the concentration of alcohol or drugs in your system. If any test shows more alcohol in your system than the law permits while driving or a detectable amount of a restricted controlled substance, your operating privilege will be suspended. If you refuse any requested test, your operating privilege will be revoked and you will be subject to other penalties. The test results or the fact that you refuse testing can be used against you in court. If you take all the requested tests, you may also choose to take the alternative test that this law enforcement agency provides free of charge.
What is that?
You may also.
What's the alternative?
You may also have a test conducted by a qualified.
Notice, wait, there's an alternative? What is it? Why don't you tell him? What is the alternative, officer?
Person of your choice at your expense. You, however, will have to make your own arrangements for that test.
Okay.
If you have a commercial driver's license.
Now, Tony Romo's the type of guy who could get it done. And he'd get it done in a heartbeat. He could make a phone call and have that happen. But I'd love to see what the private results are.
Or we're operating a commercial motor vehicle, other consequences may result from positive test results or from refusing testing, such as being placed out of service or disqualified.
Okay.
Will you submit to an evidentiary chemical test of your breath?
No. Like I said, I want my lawyer.
Okay.
Based.
For the 8th time.
Ah! I want my lawyer.
Okay. So maybe swing back in here, kind of explain what the next steps are from here, okay? All right.
Didn't he have to fucking jail? Why did they put him back in the car and fucking book him? The fuck?
So since we
his lawyer
refuse,
would have fun
which
with
is
this.
totally your right to do, okay?
I mean-
we have to. So what we got to do is now is we got to apply for a search warrant and have a judge sign off on it, okay? So
Are
we're
you
gonna get a
joking?
test on your. No, sir. That's kind of
it possible?
So and then once that blood draw is complete, then we can look at getting you a phone
Is
call,
it
okay?
possible to call the parents just to tell them that
We'll
I'm not dead?
we will
They
get to
thought
that,
I'd be
okay?
there.
I'm gonna buckle you up, okay? If possible, can you shimmy forward a little bit?
Do we really?
All right.
Do we really?
Can you lean back?
Seriously.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Okay, chat. Sorry we went through all that, but we had to. 3 hours in and over 300 of you guys still here. Thank you. Can Wisconsin revoke a Texas driver's license? I mean, yeah, they're like interstate compacts, and yeah, eventually Texas is going to suspend your license because they're going to be not thrilled you did this too. So yeah, your license will get suspended. So yeah, that was not really impressive. I was not impressive. Are we still going to get locals? Yes, we're going right over to locals. Dude is locked in at 60 mil a year at CBS with no dent to the policy in his contract unless a felony. Really? So he didn't pull a Mark Sanchez. That's good. But yeah, wow. So yeah, I'm sure he bonded out, and I'm sure he gets a driver everywhere he goes, but still. Wish he didn't have to do that. So with that said, though, chat, we're all caught up on everything. Let's see what we got any super chats to get through. Sleazy's been a member for 14 months. Is that age restricted yet? Lol. Well, thanks for thinking. Lucas says, I didn't sleep between the night between sessions either. Glad I wasn't alone there. No, that was the first night, the Monday before it started. Because we did in Ohio, it was 3 days long. It was 2.5 days when I took it. So I didn't sleep Monday night into Tuesday, but the rest of the time I slept. I slept Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Fine. No Mayo says, can we discuss the close of the Vince McMahon lawsuit? No, I wasn't aware it closed out. So I need to, along with the Lil Durk federal case pending, I need to keep track of that. So I need to keep track of that one. Thank you. Red Guy 12344321 says, pardon issue aside, what crime can answer what color's your tie? Incriminate you for that, you need a fifth on. Remember, the person asking you that question wants to put you in fucking prison. What color's your tie? I think it's blue. Well, actually, sir, it looks like, based on my color swatch, it's actually like Prussian blue. I think you committed perjury. Remember, these people want to fucking like see you basically hanged. You have no incentive to answer your questions. You have no incentive to answer the questions. I tell you the same thing as well. Fifth. All the fifth. That's the only answer you can take that's safe. Fair Frodes says, why answer nothing? Even menial stuff like this. I'm not sure which part you're talking about. With Fauci, well, you just don't answer. You have to say an answer, because if you don't, you can be seen as obstructing. But it's easier to say, I assert my Fifth Amendment right, because there's no question that you're asserting your right. It's the safest way to do it. EDW after $5 says, Sean, wait, the documents have a watermark. Yes, they do. That means they're not authentic. Unforced Ego's been a member for 26 months. Thank you for being here for that long. It says, Nick was genuinely surprised with the outcome, and I don't understand it. That episode of The Simpsons where Homer got plastered at the dinner party, and he thought he was like on the cover of the New Yorker and acting like he was the toast of the town, when it turns out he was just being a sloppy drunk everywhere. I mean, he thought like he was a rock star, but it's like, no, like, it's like Walter Mitty syndrome. Like, he thought he was like, you know, he thought like he was in an alternate reality. I showed him, and instead everybody's like, what the fuck was wrong with that guy? But that's the problem when you believe your own bullshit and fry your fucking brain. This happens. Vito Calzone, for member for 4 months says, so now you know everything. You were there also. Yeah. Stacy says, what's your favorite football team? The Browns? Yes, will always be my favorite football team. And then C3 Middles thing, he says, this is retarded. Stupid YouTube censorship. Yep. Thank you. Lone Alaska's been around for 23 months. Says, happy birthday, Sean. Not till the 10th, but thank you. We're getting close to the time where it's appropriate. Supreme Gentleman Founder ADL. I guess, Supreme Gentleman who found the ADL. He says, unrelated, what are the implications of municipalities' insurance refusing to cover them for an event with a fire set on purpose causing injury? There must be a joke there or something I'm not picking up on because it's just... there certainly could be a lot of implications. A lot. Is this related to like the LA fire or something? Yeah, that could be very interesting. EDW Raptor says Romo has criminal charges now. Jerry Jones going to blow up his phone and try to get him back. Hey, you got to get like real criminal charges like Michael Irvin, like smoking some crack with fucking hookers. That like at the White House where they used to go party. Like you got to do the real stuff. It's going to be like the 90s Cowboys. Peter Keys for $2 New Zealand says, too much camera shake with the body cam attached to it, to the boobas. Yeah. That's her problem then. Mamasaurus Rex, good to see you. Been a member for 26 months, says she's acting like she's in Reno 911. DEI's finest, yes. And then Glim Blim Blim's been a member for 18 months. Says the LA City Council is back next week. I'll take timestamps. Hopefully we get some good clips out of that chat. If you aren't aware of the LA City Council, these guys here are from it.
God bless you, Donald Trump. Keep the simplified fags out of our government.
That's right. Keep them simplified fags out of the government. I think it's funny that the LA City Council's like, we just taken 2 months off. We don't have anything. We're not going to have a hearing for 2 months. I'm like, I don't think like little towns do that. I don't know if that's legal, but it's like the whole city council's like taking a siesta at the height of summer. That's so crazy to me, but interesting. They take the holiday off like F1 does. Kind of funny and weird. So, yeah. The phone call-ins are back too. Yes, I've heard that as well. Rocco's Life says, can't the Office of the Inspector General force him to answer who? Force who to answer? Fauci? No. He can plead the Fifth to everybody. And remember, the Fifth Amendment can be asserted by anybody, even if you think you're innocent. Ohio v. Reiner establishes that. And I remember, I only know that one because I learned it when I was an intern because I dealt with one of the prosecutors on the case that Ohio v. Reiner was in the trial court for. Went all the way up to the Supreme Court and came back down. And then Ohio v. Reiner was cited by Ken Lay and the Enron guys when they were in front of Congress. So, there we go. Fucking F1 summer break, yeah. You got that new clip from media, I know, but I didn't have a chance to get it ready. Yes, in a civil case, pleading the Fifth can be held against you, but, if you've already beaten the criminal charge, like, losing on the civil thing is like, oh, well. Remember, the goal is not to go to prison. Losing the civil thing isn't that big a deal. Gisato says, real American history right there. Yes. However, Reiner involved a shaken baby that got killed. And it was about who did it. The mom or the dad or the babysitter. So let's see. Did I get everything? I think I did. All right, chat. With that said, I will see you guys tomorrow. We are going to cover some, going to touch up on Destiny a little bit. Going to touch up on Smash JT. Maybe see if there's any updates for Russell Greer. Smash JT, it's going to be a little interesting what's going on with him. And Destiny. Oh, boy. Man, he ain't rolling on dubs, let me tell you what. But we are going over to locals, potentiallycriminal.locals.com. Promo code DFLOCK America. All one word, chat, lowercase. Join us, get 1 month free, and come hang out for the weekly shows. Try to do one every Monday night and Thursday night, but if the Lindsey Clancy stuff is still going, or the Dwayne Davis stuff is going, those are going to eat into the Mondays, guys. Also, Ryan Mullally and I are working on trying to figure out our show that we're going to do. We got to come up with a name, too. So we're coming up with that. And we're going to be working on that here, guys. So hope to see you guys all around. Thank you for sticking around. Over 300 of you till the bitter end. And remember, chat, until next time, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Not even you, Tony Romo. Not even you, King. Good night, chat, and take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops.
Graham, good to see you, buddy. Yes. The guy who used graphene and used the duress pin, it's kind of retarded. You should just have a duress pin. And what do the police normally do? They try your birth date as an unlock code anyway. So let them try it, and then when they fuck it up, that's their problem, not yours. He shouldn't have done it that way. But we'll get to that. That deserves its own. That deserves some coverage on its own. But good to see you, man. And graphene is a good OS for your phone, guys. You can download it onto your phone. It's not a bad idea.
Even when they nab you on illegal stops, just cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rekieta yelled at? Why, yes it was. He even knows he's fat. For all this fun and more, there's one place to go. Here on Sean Martin's Potentially Criminal Show.
We got this one. I said thank you. A little early, though.